Couch, start lifting weights and learn game. You're welcome.
And now your man,
Donovan Sharp.
What's up, guys? It's your man Donovan Sharp, and welcome. I know that the sound was a little bit off. But welcome to the 1132nd edition of TSR Live, your daily dose of toxic masculinity, misogyny, and small dick energy. It is Friday, February the 7th of 2025. It is good to have you in today. We are streaming live to multiple platforms. We are streaming to Rumble. We are streaming to Facebook. We are streaming to X. We are streaming to MGTOW.tv. We are streaming to three YouTube channels. We are even streaming to Twitch. So however you're watching, wherever you're watching from, thank you for making the Sharp Reality Live a part of your daily routine. I will read your chats here in a little bit, but let me take a few minutes. Let me make a few announcements before we get started here. Be sure to follow me all over social media, guys. On Instagram, you can follow me there at Donovan Sharp TSR. On Instagram, you can follow me there. On X, you can follow me at TSR Donovan. And on Facebook, I actually have two Facebook pages. Search for How to Relationship and Donovan Sharp. I've got two pages. Make sure that you guys follow and subscribe to my Rumble channel. The link is rumble.com/Donovan Sharp. This is where my best content is, guys. This is raw, unfiltered, and uncensored. I do my dating show breakdowns there. I do my movie breakdowns there as well. I do watch parties with sports, movies, anything and everything you can think of that cannot be on YouTube is always on Rumble. It's always on Rumble. So make sure you guys subscribe to my Rumble channel. Again, that is rumble.com/Donovan Sharp. TSRacademy.com is where you can get your hands on 3 of my very best ebooks, guys, absolutely free. If you are new here, if you're new to this kind of content, male-centric, no bullshit content that actually helps you in life, you are looking for the right information, which means you're looking for a place to start. But because there is so much information out there, so many videos, so many articles, it can be a little bit overwhelming. The overwhelming feeling that you feel, that can cause a lot of confusion and frustration, which could ultimately lead to you throwing up your hands and just giving up. Well, consider these 3 ebooks your quick start guide to the Red Pill community. Starting from right to left to center, 14 questions she'll ask on the first date and how to correctly respond. 16 ways to immediately disqualify her for a long-term relationship. And of course, Dead Bedroom, the cure for a sexless relationship. Okay? All 3 of these ebooks are the perfect place to start if you're looking for a jump start to your Red Pill Renaissance, guys. Okay? These 3 ebooks are absolutely jam-packed with real-world, actionable advice, guidance that actually helps you, and the kind of life-changing information that can change the very trajectory of your life. If you want immediate access to these extremely valuable resources, all you got to do is real simple. Go to tsracademy.com, plug in your very best email, and I will give you instant access. Trust me when I tell you guys, you need these ebooks regardless of how long you've been Red Pill aware. So again, that is tsracademy.com, and you get these 3 ebooks absolutely free, will not cost you 1 red cent. Guys, if you love the show, if you love this content, if you love our message, if you love the show, if you love the content, if you love our message, guys, got to join the Discord. Got to join the Discord, okay? This is the official headquarters of this family, okay? This is the heartbeat of our community. We discuss everything from the degeneracy of the black community to how modern women operate, the craziness of the dating market, to relationship management, short to long term. Guys, we post videos, stories, all kinds of posts from Instagram, X, and Facebook. We also share articles. We share Reddit threads in the Discord. This is where most of my material for the Hard R podcast is from. And as a member of my Discord, you will have the ability to contribute to the podcast. Now, another benefit to being on the Discord is that you will get notifications when I go live. I know that most of you in here probably didn't get a notification, and we all know why that is. Right? We all know why that is. Well, joining Discord solves that issue immediately, okay? Immediately. Plus, when you join our Discord, I will give you access to all 5 volumes of the books of Womanese, okay? When you join our Discord, all you got to do is send me a private message with your email address, and I will give you instant access to all 625 translations of Womanese. Guys, this is my way of saying thank you for supporting and contributing to the show. Again, the link is in the description. Shout out to Dr. B84, who has just put the Discord link in the chat. I have now pinned it. On the chat. So make sure you guys join the Discord. This is really, I mean, the Discord is awesome. It's where the magic happens. If you guys want to watch my daily dating show breakdowns, you can do so on Rumble. Okay. And I'm gonna go through, I'm doing sort of a schedule change, and I'll talk about this later. You can do so on Rumble. You can watch all the breakdowns on Patreon if you just so happen to miss it. If you just so happen to miss it, should not be a problem. It is less than 17 cents a day. Less than 17 cents a day. If you want to support your boy without letting YouTube get their greedy little hands on their 30% of your hard-earned money, shoot me a cash app to $ Donovan Sharp. Again, that is $ Donovan Sharp. Guys, this is a great way to support the show and have a more immediate impact. Plus, every cash app over $5 gets a Don DeMarco regardless of amount. So if it's $10, $50, $100, $5, $6, $10, expect to hear this sound effect. So plug in $ Donovan Sharp to support the show. And I've got my iPad right here. I've got my iPad right here as well as the Cash App up and running. So as soon as you send it, I will be notified immediately. I'll shout you out immediately. Okay? So plug in $sign Donovan Sharp to support the show. I will read them off as quickly as I get them. And keep in mind, guys, you will see my legal name, which is Edwin Hopkins, when you send a Cash App to $sign Donovan Sharp. But that is indeed the correct destination for your support. Okay, that is it for the announcements. But as you guys know, it is Friday, which means I'm going to give you guys my Friday advice. For those of you who are still out here running through Heaux, building harems. Number 1, wrap your sausage. Number 2, call an Uber. Number 3, send that morning after or night of text. Now, the reason I tell you these things is because there are few things in this life that can turn a man's life completely upside down, literally overnight, than knocking up a yacht thought, a DWI or DUI, or a false EPAR accusation. Okay? An ounce of prevention, gentlemen, is worth a pound of cure, as the saying goes. But this axiom is way out of date given the current climate we find ourselves in. For men, an ounce of prevention is worth avoiding 18 years of child support, at least 5 figures in attorney's fees, and having your good name and reputation dragged through the mud, not to mention getting fired or losing your income because you are guilty until proven innocent. So in this case, an ounce of prevention is probably worth a little more than $250,000 increased blood pressure and decreased freedom. Gentlemen, if you wrap it up, then pull out, put hot sauce in the condom, then flush it down the toilet, got nothing to worry about. If you call an Uber to take you home rather than driving home drunk, you got nothing to worry about, okay? If you send her that morning after text, or in some cases, the smash after text for good measure, you will drastically decrease your odds of becoming another victim of a false EPAR allegation. You decrease your odds substantially more by installing cameras at your place and recording everything. So to all my players, my womanizers, my thought chasers, my harem builders, be smart out there tonight, guys. Wrap up, call an Uber, and send her and tell her via text message either that night or the next morning that you had a great time. As a matter of fact, you should probably do it that night. If you kick her out of your place, that night, okay, text her immediately. Hey, had a good time. Can't wait to hang out again. That way, if she does end up on some bullshit, trying to accuse you of something you did, of something you clearly did not do, you show the cops that night of or morning after text. That will go a long way in almost immediately exonerating you. Good stuff. Love giving out that Friday advice. I really, really do. Tyler B says, "Damn good call. I'll remember that shit." Absolutely. This is why I tell you guys this. Listen, guys. I've got a great show in store for you guys today. I'm going to start getting back to the basics here because it's clear that it's needed. So my new schedule, I'm going to start doing 2 live streams a day. I'm going to do TSR live in the afternoons, and then I'm going to do the Hard R podcast at night. So today we're going to do TSR live. I guess I started at 12:30. I wanted to start at 12, but as usual, I was a little bit late. I'm on nigga time, right? So I'm going to be giving you guys actually 3 live streams a day. I'm going to do TSR live, then I'm going to do the dating show breakdown. Then I'm going to do the Hard R podcast. Now I'm not going to be able to do the dating show breakdown until a little bit later. And the reason for that is because right after this podcast, I'm going to be doing another podcast with Glenn Lawrence. Be doing another podcast with Glenn Lawrence. Right after this, we're going right into it with Glenn Lawrence. As a matter of fact, I need to shoot him a text. Okay, give me a second. Give me a second here. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hearing from Glenn now. This is all right. There we go. All right. So, Glenn and I, we're going to push that back. But just to sort of let you guys know what's going on here, I'm going to start getting back to the basics here because it's clear that it's needed. Okay. You guys know I was on Fresh and Fit last Friday night talking about womanese. And what was clear during that podcast is that a lot of us male-centric red pill content creators, we're gonna need to start getting back to the basics. We're gonna need to start getting back to the basics. The reason we know it's time, and I'm talking about myself and Myron, the reason we know it's time is because we've been getting a lot of remedial questions and comments in our chats and in our comments. And this is partially our fault. A lot of RP creators assume that if you're here, then you must know and fully understand all the basics. But over the past few months, it's clear that a lot of you do not. Not a bad thing at all. In fact, I think we as creators shoulder a lot of blame for taking for granted that all of you have the basics down pat, right? This is why I've offered those 3 free ebooks, right? And again, let me put it back on the screen. These 3 ebooks, okay, they contain a wealth of knowledge about the basics of what we teach here. Those resources will automatically put you miles ahead of the average blue-pilled layman. Like straight up, okay? But it's not enough, gentlemen. It's not enough to just read the ebooks. You need context. You need more scenarios. You need more examples. This is why Myron's dedicating Fridays now to red pill basics, okay? And in the same vein, I'm going to start doing the same. Yes, we will still react to police videos from time to time, and I will do that on the Hard R podcast. But I think it's time to hit the reset button and get back to the basics in terms of what we teach. Give me a second. Okay, communicating with Glenn. All right. Sorry, guys. Okay, perfect. All right. That said, gentlemen, I have a fantastic show in store for you today. Okay, very good. I got a fantastic show for you guys today. I am going to be reacting to Pearl's debate with a militant feminist who literally lies to win arguments. That'll be a great breakdown. I'm also going to be talking about a woman who says that the idea of dating a mature man actually scares her, which tells you a lot about who she is and how she moves. But I'm going to start by reacting to an article. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. Quickly. And I know this is a little bit choppy here, but we will get through it. There we go. Perfect. Sam Stark says, stoked for you this Sunday. Absolutely. Gully Blanchard says, there are new Blue Pill guys hearing about you and F&F every day. Absolutely. Carl Bennington says, I want to see you break down Love is Blind. Absolutely. The new Love is Blind season is going to drop on Valentine's Day. Love is Blind Season 8 is going to drop on Valentine's Day. At any rate, we are going to break down another one of these articles. We are going to take it back to the old school. We're going to take it back to the old school. An ironclad truth that most men here are well aware of is that the hate is real among men, okay? You guys know that I have my share of haters. But the reason these guys throw shade is simply because they know that we know that they're unwilling. They know that they're unwilling to put in the work required to change their lives. Well, fortunately for men, it's never too late to start living the life you want, right? I found this community, good Lord. I found this community back when I was 32. So I found this community 15 years ago, guys. I found it at 32 years old, which is a lot later than most guys, but I was still able to reinvent myself into the man you guys see here at damn near 48 years old. I turned 48 in August. Even if I had found this community at 37 rather than 32, I would still be dominating life. But for women, this is very, very different. You see, guys, there are also women out here who hate on women who live better lives than they do, okay? They hate on women who are in solid relationships with men that they love and respect. They hate on women who are still in great shape, even though they have a bunch of kids. The list grows by the day. But here's the difference. At around 29, 30 years old, it's too late for women to recover. It's too late for them to recover. They have no idea that, and they never figure it out until it's too late, okay? By the time a woman hits 30, it is a lot harder to stay in shape. And if she hasn't developed, healthy eating habits like eating right, exercising, and squashed bad habits like smoking, drinking, and sleeping around, it's way too late, okay? And if a woman can't stay in shape, if she has bad habits, if she has a high body count, she cannot and will not be in a relationship of consequence with a man of value ever. Okay? So when they see other women living the lives they wish they could live, they throw shade. I'll bet she's totally miserable being married to an oppressive, misogynistic dictator. No, she's not. She's happy, she's relaxed, and she's appreciative. Right? Happy, relaxed, and appreciative. She probably eats rabbit food to stay that thin. No, she doesn't. She eats clean, wholesome, home-cooked meals and works out regularly. Okay? My haters would never admit out loud that they would love to live the life I live. They'll all say out loud, Donovan's girl isn't attractive, right? And guys who lift weights are just gym bros, and I don't want to be like that. But deep down, they know they'd trade places with me tomorrow if they could. Gentlemen, it's the same with women. Okay, they can talk all they want about how they never be, they'd never be in a happy relationship with a man who keeps her in line, handles his business, and treats her the way she deserves to be treated. But deep down, they know they would. Deep down, they know they would. And if you don't believe me, ask Joy Isabel, who not only called into my show, but she apologized and bent the knee after she realized that she would love to be in a relationship with a man like me. If you still don't believe me, ask Lisa Faye, Lisa Faye made the egregious mistake of slandering me, and she found out the hard way that irresponsible actions have swift, severe, and legal ramifications. She found that out she absolutely found that out the hard way. You better fucking believe she found that out the hard way. Pardon me. And honestly, since that, she hasn't been seen or heard on any platform since LinkedIn. And her dating app, Smart Date, right? That may or may not have been abandoned and defunded because of her reckless behavior. Feminists, gentlemen, the world over hate seeing women who are in good relationships. Not because they hate good relationships, but because they know they can't have one. Which brings us to today's first topic. Perpetually single feminist Janelle Testa, obviously at it again, guys. She wrote an article entitled, quote, "I'm painfully single and seeing happy couples everywhere is killing me." Now, this isn't surprising, given that she pretends to hate anything that highlights her own failures as a female. So let's break this bad boy down and see what kind of nonsense Janelle is talking about now. Let me blow this up for you guys. She starts, quote, "Is it me or are there couples everywhere you turn? Everywhere you turn, every time you walk out of the house, I feel like I can't escape them. They're everywhere. Seeing people who are seemingly happy together brings up a whole lot of feelings within me. I'm super emotional and seeing them drives me crazy." So Miss Testa wants to know if she's the only woman who feels this way, insinuating that she is somehow unique or special in this regard. But guess what, Janelle? You're not special. In fact, every woman over the age of 30 who are covered in tattoos, have magenta hair and bull rings in their noses, who have spent, their 20s hooking up with anything with a pulse, feels exactly the same way. Then they wonder why dudes only take him for a ride when they're the last girl at the bar if he's got his beer goggles on. Okay? Listen, guys, sluts and hoes used to be a rarity. Okay? They used to be a rarity. It was very, very hard to find sluts and hoes back in the 50s and 60s. But now they're a dime a dozen. The problem is that these girls think that they're somehow special or unique because they have an unconventional tattoo or rainbow-colored armpit hair, right? And just like my haters get mad every time I post a picture of me doing things they wish they could do, it drives Janelle crazy when she sees women living the life she wants but can't have. Let's move to number 1 here. They remind me of how single I am. She continues, when I see two lovebirds all nuzzled up on each other in public, it's just a giant reminder for me that I don't have a person. I feel like there's a blinking sign over my head that reads, quote, alone. Even if others don't see it, it's loud and bright enough to ruin how I'm feeling. I then ruminate on the fact that I've been single for a long time. Gentlemen, what most men don't understand is that women characterize and emote being single the same way they characterize and emote their ages, right? We saw this on Fresh and Fit the other day. Anytime a woman is over the age of 30, she never wants to tell you, right? A 22-year-old will gleefully tell you she's 22, and she will do so with $1 million smile and a twinkle in her eye. She acts exactly the same way when she tells you she's single. However, a 29-year-old will tell you that she's 29, but not with quite as much zest or enthusiasm. Now, don't get me wrong here. She still has a little bit of pride because she is, after all, still in her 20s. And when she tells you that she's single, her tone is still hopeful and somewhat optimistic. But when a 35-year-old woman tells you her age, she may as well have told you her cat died, because at that point, she knows it's over. She'll act the same way when she tells you she's single. Miss Testa's obsessing over the fact that she's single because it's not so much fun anymore. You see, ladies, all 2.5 of you watching right now, being single is great when you're 23 because you have the luxury of time and options. But both of those commodities dissipate in a hurry. And before you realize that, you've had 3 abortions, 2 engagements, and a drinking problem. And you wake up on your 38th birthday and realize that being single in your late 30s is not a good life. That blinking sign used to say strong and independent, and now it reads alone. Let's continue. Number 2, I'm self-pitying being on my own. She continues, if it isn't clear already, I don't like being by myself. Rather than letting it be what it is, not a big deal and totally natural, I turn it into a way to beat myself up. I become a self-pity machine thinking that there has to be something hugely wrong with me. I expend all this energy getting down on myself rather than spending it building myself up. Guys, like most women, Janelle is lying to herself. And everyone else when she says that being single is not a big deal and totally natural. Guys, this is why women suffer in silence, okay? They cannot admit to the world that they need a man, okay? The reason she's beating herself up is because her female hard drive is telling her that it is a big deal that she's alone and that it is not totally natural. Men, on the other hand, we have a very different hard drive. We want women, sure, but we do not need them. But women who think they can be like men in this regard always end up miserable. Then she says she keeps thinking something is hugely wrong with her, as if to imply that she's perfectly fine, but that her conscience is giving her some sort of false alarm. No, Miss Testa, that is not a false alarm. Okay, there are many things hugely wrong with you, and this is why your mind is signaling the alarm that tells you to panic, which you are absolutely doing right now. Let's go to number 4. I start to think about my flaws. She continues, when I see a happy couple, I reflect on my own life and wonder why I don't have someone. Then I start to feel like I'm fundamentally broken, like I have so many flaws that they are drowning me. I begin to think about how I'm probably too intense for most people and how, quote, I'm too much in general. All I focus on are my flaws. Gentlemen, this is the equivalent of a woman with a bad attitude telling herself that she's single because men are intimidated by her strong personality, which in actuality, it's just that men can't stand her bitchy attitude, okay? The reason this woman doesn't have someone is because she is overweight, she is covered in tattoos, and she's insufferable. Okay? Further, the flaws that she has that are drowning her, guys, those are the side effects that come with sleeping around. Entitlement, neuroticism, lack of self-awareness, lack of discipline, impulsiveness, bad decision-making, alcoholism, antidepressants, the list goes on, guys. Men of value do not commit to women who have an inflated sense of dating market value and are mentally unstable, who drink too much and make bad decisions on the fly. And when you look like Miss Testa, you tell men exactly who and what you are. Women like this are not intense, okay? They are damaged beyond repair, which is too much risk for any man with common sense to invest in. And listen, guys, listen. We can talk all we want. We can talk all the trash we want about girls with a bunch of tattoos and piercings. But at least they make it easy for us to recognize that we shouldn't consider them for anything more than a one-night stand or a temporary friends with benefits arrangement. Let's go to number 5. I feel lonely when I see them. She continues, a huge wave of loneliness falls over me when I see happy couples, especially when I'm in public on a sunny day. I look around and it seems that there are happy couples on every corner. My feeling of being totally alone just increases tenfold, even if I'm not with friends or family. It's almost worse when I'm with other people because then I feel alone in a crowded room. Guys, there's really not much to say here because she's not being disingenuous or dishonest. Chicks like this are lonely even when they're with friends and family because they don't have a man. That's really all there is to it. It's really all there is to it. Number 6, she says, Twisters was actually a very good movie. My jealousy starts to boil. She continues, I get mad at people who are happy and feel like I could just scream. I start to judge them and get mean in my head. Jealousy is a dangerous game because it can bring me down all kinds of mental rabbit holes. Then I'm internally rolling my eyes and saying, ugh. Gentlemen, this is what happens when a woman finally begins to understand that she will never have what other women have. Okay? Janelle wants to be happy, but she knows she'll never be. Okay? She knows she'll never be. And because she knows it's too late for her, she hates the women who understood the concept of locking down a high-value male while their value is at its peak. And she's right. Jealousy does bring her down all kinds of mental rabbit holes. She starts saying things in her head like, I'll bet she's miserable. I'll bet she's unhappy. I'm glad I'm not her, which leads me, of course, to number 7. I always think the couples are all super happy. You guys want to hear some hamster? Here we go. The thing is, she says, I have no idea what's going on in these couples' lives. They could have unhappy and toxic relationships for all I know. I assume that everyone is happy except me, but who knows who's actually happy and who's not? Instead, I should probably assume that they're human, like me, and have their ups and downs. You guys see that? The title of this article is I'm Painfully Single and Seeing Couples Everywhere is Killing Me. Well, why would it be killing her if she really did think that these relationships were unhappy and toxic? I'll tell you why. Because she knows that these women are happy. Guys, women know when other women are truly happy in relationships, okay? Just because a girl puts on a happy face around her friends and family doesn't mean everyone buys her act. They know when a woman is miserable in a relationship. Janelle sees all kinds of couples when she's out and about, okay? And she can tell you the relationships that are good and which ones are bad. It's the good ones that make her feel worthless. She doesn't even notice the bad ones, and this is why she's telling us that seeing happy couples everywhere is killing her. So in order to cope with the fact that she will never be in a happy relationship, she tells herself, well, maybe all of these people are in unhappy and toxic relationships. Maybe they just had a fight. Maybe they're super mad at each other. She does all of this to make herself feel better about being single. But guess what? Depression isn't caused by speculation. It's not caused by hypotheticals or what might be. No. Depression is caused by what is. And no matter how much Miss Testa tries to convince herself how miserable these couples might be, she knows that they're better off than she is. Yes, couples certainly have their ups and downs, but that's not what Janelle's situation is. No, she's lonely because she doesn't have a man to have ups and downs with in the first place. Let's move to number 8. My feelings are valid, but not super rational. It's okay that I'm feeling all of these feelings. They're valid and they're allowed to be there. However, a wise person once told me that my feelings aren't facts. Just because I feel terribly alone does not mean that I am. I can validate how I'm feeling and also acknowledge that these thoughts aren't saving me. They don't align with my identity. Oh, sweet mother of God. And you know what? You want to know something, guys? I can't blame this girl for being this delusional, okay? I can't blame her for denying what is clearly staring her in the face. I mean, she's got to wake up every morning, right? Like, I get it. I understand, but none of that negates the truth. So let's just take it from the top here. First off, it is okay to have feelings of hopelessness, depression, anxiety, and worthlessness. They are valid and they are allowed to be there because Miss Testa is all of these things. But the wise person who told her that feelings aren't facts was right. Facts don't care about your feelings. But right after she acknowledges the validity of what this wise person told her, she literally contradicts it by telling us that, well, just because she feels alone doesn't mean that she is. Like, what is that? Think about it. That's like me saying, well, Rolla Tomasi once told me that women never love men unconditionally. But just because I feel that Devin loves me conditionally doesn't mean she actually loves me. Like, for real? Like, seriously, how ridiculous does that sound? Then she says that she can validate how she's feeling and also acknowledge that these thoughts aren't serving her and that they don't align with reality. So what she's saying here is that even though she feels alone, worthless, depressed, and jealous, doesn't mean she actually is. No, that's not the reality, okay? She actually believes her feelings don't align with reality. She believes that her instincts telling her that the writing is on the wall about her life going forward are completely wrong and not rooted in reality and truth. Guys, this is the best example of a female's entitlement monkey having sex with her rationalization hamster and giving birth to a spawn that manifests itself into statements like this. I mean, dude, this chick is way the fuck out here. Unbelievable. Let's move to number 9. I'm afraid I'm going to be alone forever. I genuinely worry, she says, that I'm never going to find someone I'm compatible with because I've had a history of messy relationships. I'm growing and learning to be a better me, but that doesn't stop me from thinking that no one will ever love me. Okay, she is starting to acknowledge the truth here, guys. Okay? That wise person who told her that facts aren't her feelings probably indirectly told her that her history of messy relationships is going to cost her in the long run. Those messy relationships, those are the ones where she lied, she cheated, she deceived, she had noit robas, abortions, and did God knows what with God knows who. Messy means getting passed around, period. Yeah, she's learning to be a better person, but it's too late for her and she knows it. Okay? That's why it doesn't stop her from thinking that no one will ever love her. That's just how it works. That's how it works. Let's go to her number 10. I have a big desire for a relationship. Okay. All of this fear, sadness, and anger is coming from a soft place inside me that just wants to have a partner to love and be loved by. I've had this desire for as long as I can remember. I probably blame it on the fairy tales we're fed as kids. I've always had a yearning in my heart for another person. She is getting ever closer to acceptance, guys. She's getting close. So she's now admitting that she wants a relationship with a man that she loves and respects, and she's also admitting that she's been sold a bad bill of goods by Western culture in the form of fairy tales, Disney movies, romantic comedy, right? And every other kind of media that tells women that they can eat at the man buffet until they're 36, then bump into Bradley Cooper at the farmer's market and live happily ever after. Even after he finds out about the tattoo of her ex on her ass, her 1-week fling in Spain with Emilio, Cristiano, Rodrigo, Carlos, Miguel, Javier, and Francisco, long story. Her long list of exes include maybe a couple of porn stars and her hilarious hijinks in Cabo that may or may not have included a drug-fueled orgy with men. Okay? It wasn't just the fairy tales, guys. It was her bad decisions. Yes, feminism influences women. But guys, I'm here to tell you, we are all born with an inherent understanding of the difference between right and wrong. Okay? This is why women divide their body counts by 32 if you were ever dumb enough to ask her. Insane. Number 11, I believe I have to make peace with being alone before I can be with someone else. Look, she says, I know all of this is a bit problematic and I have some work to do. My main goal right now is to make peace with being alone. I genuinely don't think I can ever be happy with someone else unless I found happiness within myself. So as much as couples drive me crazy, they're teaching me lessons and moving me along my path. You ain't fooling anyone, baby girl. Okay? You have to make peace with being alone because you know you will end up alone. Okay? You know that you have no more chances. You know that you have no more time. You know that the men you want no longer want you. So you're going to tell us that in order to be happy with someone else, you have to be happy being alone. And that ain't going to happen because women are never happy when they are alone. This is why women are miserable, guys. A girl could be sleeping with a different guy every night. That girl is still lonely and miserable. Women need men. They don't want to admit it, but they know it's true. And this is why seeing couples everywhere drives Miss Testa crazy. The only lessons they're teaching her is that she will never have what they have. Incredible. Incredible. All right, let me read these super chats. Looks like we've got some new channel members here. Shout out to Mike Hawk, who has gifted 10 Donovan Sharp memberships. At Mr. Pitt, at Brandon Bryce, at JT, at Caleb Pratt, at Mr. Reggie, at LGS Inc., at Site TV, at Gaptooth Gains, at Chudy Iregbulam, at Kevin, to welcome them all to the TSR family. If you would, guys, the guys who were just gifted Donovan Sharp memberships, guys, let's go ahead and put your age and location in the chat. Let's put your age and location in the chat. As is customary of all first-time channel members, let's go ahead and do a chat-wide age and location in the chat. The reason why we do this is because this is how we form communities of like-minded men. A lot of you guys ask me the same questions. Donovan, it's hard to find men who think like we do. It's hard to find red pillow wear men. Well, everyone in here watching, clearly red pillow wear. You guys want to live the red pill life. So if you're watching with these people, you guys are all like-minded men. Well, people that you're watching with in the chat, they could live in your city, they could live in your neighborhood, they could live on your block, they could live on your street, they could live in your building. So by putting your age and location in the chat, maybe we can form communities of like-minded men. Who the hell is this? Oh, that's, what's his name? Okay. Excellent. We got people from San Diego. Jay Blaze is from Maine. We got people from Florida. Mike Hawk is in the house. Siege D with the $2 super chat says, yo, DS, you and Glenn tonight's going to be awesome. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to be going on with him right after this podcast. I'm going to be going on with Glenn. I'm going to be going on with Glenn Lawrence, and should be interesting. Should be very interesting. Let me move this over because I'm keep knocking these out. There we go. Ken Rose with the $2 Rumble Rant. All right. Oh, Ravanu is 36, lives in North Las Vegas. Good stuff. We got people from Canada. Marcos out there from Sao Paulo. Yannick L'Italian out there in fuck it. The Brown Bunnies from Texas. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, Crimson Eclipse hails from Connecticut. Good shit, man. Good shit. Love to see this, guys. Love to see that we got. A community of like-minded men all over. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Excellent. Excellent. Keep them coming, guys. Listen. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. The like button, it is the most important metric that YouTube uses to push me up in the algorithm, okay? So if you want to see the channel grow, if you want to support the channel and you can't super chat or whatever the case may be, hey, likes are free. Likes are absolutely free. They are absolutely free. Hook your boy up. Let's hit that like button. Let us hit that like button. All right, good. Good shit. All right, very nice. Very, very nice. All right, we're going to react to another article here. We're going to react to another article. And again, guys, stay tuned. Stay tuned, gentlemen, because I'm going to be reacting to Pearl's debate with that militant feminist. Pearl's debate with that militant feminist is coming up. I'm going to be doing that here very, very soon. Let me check the Cash App. Oh, it closed on me. Okay. What does Cash App keep closing on me? Come on, Cash App. There we go. All right. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, good. Just making inroads with Glenn. Now, this particular, so I'm going to break down this article. It's entitled, "I Say I Want a Good Man, but the Idea of Dating Mature Guys Scares Me." Guys, this article grabbed my attention because the title alone verifies exactly what I've been saying about hoes who run up on guys who treat them well. And that is, the better you treat a hoe, the worse she'll treat you. Now, a lot of you guys ask, well, why is this, Donovan? This totally confuses me. Why don't women reciprocate good treatment? Why do they adore men who treat them poorly, but then ruin the lives of men who treat them well? Well, the answer is simple. Despite what these hoes say out loud or on social media, girls who sleep around know that they're not worthy of being treated like a lady. Okay? These women are keenly aware that outside of the pleasure that they provide men between the sheets, they are completely useless to high-caliber men. For this reason, they tend to gravitate towards the men who treat them like garbage, cheat on them, disrespect them. They know they deserve this behavior, which is exactly why they can't get enough of these guys. Guys are always asking me, well, why do girls chase douchebags and assholes all the time? Why are girls so loyal to guys who treat them poorly? Right? Why? Listen, let me explain. I really need you guys to listen to this, okay? When a man treats a woman with kindness, respect, and courtesy, she gets upset. Okay, now why did she get upset? She gets upset because she subconsciously thinks, how does this guy know that I am not worthy of this treatment? I've got purple hair. I've got a bull ring in my nose. I've got a giant tattoo on my thigh. I've got 3 kids by 2 different men, which is actually 2.5 because I'm not really 100% sure that Daniel is Daniel Jr.'s father, and I told him I still talk to my ex. Why is this guy clueless? When she asks herself these things, she will poke and prod the guy, read shit test, to make sure that he's not just pretending to like her for the purpose of only hooking up with her and then ghosting on her. But when she figures out that he's just another clueless dude who believes everything he hears about women, she will lie, she will cheat, and she'll disrespect him. Guys, understand this. Women absolutely loathe men who do not recognize them for who and what they are, and they will punish these guys with the anger of a jilted lover. Another reason why hoes treat good men terribly is because chaos, drama, turmoil, and dysfunction is all they know. It's all they know. And I'll give you an analogy here, okay? Girls like this, they're like an ex-con who's been institutionalized by prison, right? When they get out, prisoners, they don't know how to act. They can't handle freedom. They can't handle choice. All they know is 3 squares and a 6x9, being told when to take a piss, when to go to sleep, all that good stuff. So what these guys do is they reoffend in order to go back to the environment that they're the most comfortable in. We call that recidivism. Girls are exactly the same way, guys. All they know is getting treated like garbage, being verbally and sometimes even physically eviscera, spelled backwards, getting cheated on, and constant turbulence. So what do these girls do? They reoffend, if you will, to get thrown right back to the men who use and abuse them, because despite the physical and mental wear and tear, it's what they're the most comfortable with. Well, this is exactly where Amy Horton finds herself today. She has just been given parole, and because she's not sure of what awaits on the outside, she's a little anxious, okay? She has no idea how she'll respond to good treatment from good men, and she's scared, guys. She said so herself in the title. She couldn't handle freedom in her 20s, which is why she was sent to prison in the first place. So let's go ahead and break this bad boy down here, guys. Let's go ahead and break this bad boy down here. She starts, I talk a good game about how all I want out of my romantic life is a grown man with focused ambition and emotional maturity. When it comes down to it, she says, though, I'm terrified to actually date someone like it because it brings up all my insecurities and fears. Here is why I have a hard time practicing what I preach. Let's go to number 1. I'm not used to mature guys. She continues, I've dated very few men in my life and a whole bunch of boys. It's also been a long time since I've dated anyone for any length of time, so I'm out of practice. If a man who has his act together actually indicates that he wants me, I'll probably run away terrified. Do you see this, guys? Amy Horton is literally telling us that she is going to run away terrified when a man who has his act together indicates that he wants her. There's your answer, guys. This is the answer for guys who ask, why did she all of a sudden just ghost me? I'm in great shape. I'm driven. I have goals. I know how to handle women, and I don't tolerate her shenanigans. I listened to Donovan's 7-hour course, How to Build a Quality Woman from the Ground Up, which I got at tsracademy.com, and I've done everything that course instructed me to do. And because I followed that advice, I now have a rotation of women, all who want to be with me. So if I'm this so-called high-value guy, you would ask yourself, then why did the girl I started to like the most just up and leave? Amy just answered that question for you. Okay? She also gives herself away as a bona fide hoe by telling us it's been a long time since she's dated anyone for any length of time and that she's out of practice. Gentlemen, all my womanese students, this means she's been sleeping around for so long, she does not know how to conduct herself in a committed monogamous relationship. When guys wonder why a girl who says she wants commitment but can't understand why you don't want her texting her ex, going to the club, or being on social media, it's because she's been passed around for so long that her brain has been rewired to think that her promiscuous behaviors are healthy and normal. So here's lesson number 1, gentlemen. Never commit to a woman who tells you she hasn't been in a relationship in a while. Let me repeat that. Never, and I mean never, ever commit to a woman who tells you she hasn't been in a relationship in a while. And yes, there is a womanese translation for that. Take a look and listen.
I haven't been in a relationship in 2 years. I've been fucking random guys for 2 years.
Women always assume that we assume relationship haunts Christ and mate. In other words, they want us to think they've been completely celibate this whole time. This is never the case. Why? Because women are never not fucking. There's always a dick in their lives or their ass, one way or another, whether they're in a relationship or not. Womanese 101. Get it. Now, the reasons are obvious, and obviously I discussed this at length in Womanese 101. Reason number 1, if she hasn't been in a relationship in a while, she has exponentially increased her body count during that time, guys. A second reason is that her relationship mentality has atrophied. What does that mean? Here's what it means. This means that it will be incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to rid her of the behaviors that kept her on that bed hopping spree for so long. Gentlemen, do not waste your time on girls like this. Use them for bedroom fun, then throw them back for the next guy when you are tired of her. Number 2, I don't like feeling out of control. She continues. As much as I detest dating immature dudes, there's obviously something there that appeals to me subconsciously. I think I have a need to feel like I'm in charge of my romantic situations. It dates back to my childhood issues, I guess. I want to keep the upper hand. This makes absolutely zero sense. But this makes absolutely zero sense. Okay? But before I tell you why, let's take a minute here to translate some of the language that Miss Horton's using here. Because she's using words and descriptions that are purposely misleading, which indirectly dilutes what's really happening here. First of all, she just said immature dudes, okay? And earlier, stay with me here, guys. Earlier, she said mature guy, which is obviously the opposite, okay? She's also used the word boys and men to describe immature dudes and mature guys. She wants us to believe that she means she's been dating younger guys who are immature and don't know any better, as opposed to older men who have themselves together. But the difference between the two isn't age or maturity level like she wants us to believe. The difference is bad boys versus high caliber men. That's it. That's it, guys. That's really what it means. Bad boys versus men of value. Okay? Amy jumped into bed with bad boys in her 20s and shunned men who were good to her. Right? Now she did give a few men the old college try, as she told us earlier. When she says she's dated very few men. But because she was following the Sheryl Sandberg's advice on how to date, she put these guys on ice so she can continue having fun with the boys. So when Ms. Horton says boys or immature guys or dudes, she's talking about the bad boys, the guys with the tattoos, the guys who treated her like garbage, the guys who passed her around. When she says mature men or just men, she's talking about the guys who she now realizes had their act together when she passed up on them in her party years. So getting back to number 2 here, she says that even though she detests dating the bad boys, which is sleeping with bad boys, because remember, she said she hadn't dated anyone for any length of time. Well, she admits that something draws her to these guys, but she says that it's being in control is what keeps her coming back. So she's either ignorant or she's lying. Gentlemen, girls hate being in control. Okay? They think they want to because feminism tells them to be control freaks. And they want all the accolades that come with being in charge and being a leader. But women are not equipped for leadership, nor can they handle being in control. Amy was never in control with the bad boys, and neither is any other woman, which is one of the main reasons why girls can't get enough of these guys. No, they certainly don't like not being in control, but they are turned on by men who are in control. Okay? Your woman's not going to like a lot of things you do and say to keep her in line, but she respects them. The bad boys weren't afraid to piss Amy off. She couldn't control them with sex, and she was unable to manipulate them. She couldn't control these guys, and that's why she stuck around. But what she doesn't know is that she will never have the upper hand with high-value men. She has no idea that any man she feels like she can control and have the upper hand with is a man she will be unable to respect, and she'll be right back at square one when she cheats on that guy with Dave, the unemployed garage band guitar player, who may or may not have an outstanding warrant because he owes back child support. Let's go to number 4. Number 4. I have, she continues, an unhealthy familiarity with dating boys. God. It might not be a good thing, she says, but it's what I know. I understand emotionally stunted and immature men, and something in me wants to take care of them. A friend once told me that I have a savior complex, and she's not wrong. I know it's not my responsibility to fix guys, but old habits die hard. This is a very typical flaw in female nature. Okay, especially now because women sleep around as a matter of habit. What I'm talking about here is women being affected by men they think they want to fix. Okay, here's how it goes. They start sleeping with a bad boy. The bad boy cheats on her, calls her names, treats her like garbage, the whole nine, right? Now, we all know that the worse you treat hoes, the better they treat you, which means that eventually she'll fall in love with you as they always do with these bad boys. So now she's invested emotionally, and she starts entertaining thoughts of a long-term relationship with these bad boys. And because today's women want beta behavior from alpha males, they try to change or fix him so that they can satisfy both sides of their dualistic mating strategy, also known as good genes, good dad. We also call it alpha fucks, beta bucks. But what women do not understand is that if they are successful in taming the wild stallion, she will lose that visceral attraction to him because, number one, he's not the same person he was when she met him. And number two, she realizes that she can control him, and women are not turned on by men they can control. This is a paradox that so many women find themselves in all the time. But because women are grossly unaware that they destroy anything and everything they have sole control over, they cannot help but to nag. And if the man she's nagging is weak-willed and has a scarcity mindset or isn't steadfast in his beliefs, eventually he will cave in and submit to her whims. Now, some of you guys are probably wondering, well, why do women do this, Donovan? Why do they never realize that they've always fallen out of love with the men that they are successful in bending to their will? And the answer is simple. It's because they're women. And this is just what women do. You see, gentlemen, when a woman tells you to change your wardrobe or shave your beard or cut your hair, she is testing your manhood without even realizing she's doing it. She has no idea that her operating system, which is running in her subconscious, is asking her, does he wear retro gaming t-shirts because he likes them or because he's trying to be unique? Did he grow a beard because he simply wanted to, or did he grow a beard to become more attractive to girls? Let's see if this guy really is who he appears to be. And that's when she starts nagging you about changing things that are seemingly inconsequential, but turn out to be the very reason she leaves you. So here's lesson number 2, guys. If you allow a woman to change you, she will lose attraction for you. If you let her change anything about you, you have failed a shit test. Never, ever, ever forget this. Let's go to number 5. I'm not usually attracted to grown men, she says. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I've always been into guys who are my own age or younger. For the most part, I don't feel physical chemistry with older men. There are always exceptions to the rule, of course, and not all emotionally developed men are older than me. But this has been the general trend. Do you see what she's trying to do here, guys? Has anyone else picked up on this? Has anyone else? Okay. It's almost as though she's writing each section after she listens to my assessment of the previous sections. And let me explain why this is. Earlier, we established that mature men and men, what she really means are stable men who have their act together, men who are high caliber, have potential to become high caliber. Basically the opposite of the bad boys she was fooling around with. But now she slightly changed the vernacular to make us think she's talking about the same kind of men in an attempt to throw us off about who she's really talking about. Before, she used mature guys as a pseudonym for nice guy. But now she's calling them grown men to mislead us into thinking that mature guys and grown men are the same thing. She is trying to fool us into thinking that she is talking about the same kind of men. She's not. All she did here was tell us that she has more physical chemistry with men around her own age. That's it. This has nothing to do with what she's talking about in this article. Amy Horton is attempting to tell us that one of the reasons she used to pass up on the good guys is because she didn't feel any physical chemistry with them. But the mature guys she's talking about are not the same as the grown men she just described. She is trying to avoid being called out for passing up nice guys to bang the bad boys by conflating mature guys with grown men. The reason she's doing this is so that she can say, well, I didn't pass up nice guys for the bad boys. There were just some men I didn't have physical chemistry with, and that's why things didn't work out. I was totally looking for a long-term relationship when I was 23, but if I'm not physically attracted to them, that's not my fault. Nah, fam. These grown men she's talking about here in number 5 are neither the mature men or the immature men she's talking about. No. They are a separate group of men she is trying to group in with the good guys so that she can claim she gobbled bananas for noble and just reasons. Fuck out of here, man. These bitches think we're stupid. Nice try, Amy. Number 6. I have a hard time being vulnerable. She continues. I'm very honest, yes, but I'm emotionally closed off. There is a definite distinction between the two. There are certain places that I simply don't or can't go with most people. When I'm confronted with a man who is open with his feelings, it freaked me out. I love how women can't help but to tell on themselves even when they're not trying to. And I always tell my guys, be patient. Okay, she's not going to tell you the truth now, but if you pay attention, just wait. Eventually, she will tell you the whole truth. Amy just told us that there are certain places she simply doesn't go with most people, as if to infer that she chooses not to open up emotionally with the men she's romantically involved with. But right after she said, I simply don't, she puts in parenthesis, or can't. And that's where she reveals the truth about her emotional state when it comes to men. You see, gentlemen, the very first article I broke down from Ms. Horton was an article entitled, quote, I'm scared that I no longer have the ability to be emotionally available. And in that article, she waxed poetic about the fact that because she's hooked up with so many dudes, she's afraid that she's unable to bond with or emotionally open up to men she's in romantic relationships with. But Donovan, she said she was scared. She didn't actually say she could no longer emotionally bond to men. Yes, she did. And that was 2 years before she wrote this article. And because we know that Ms. Horton was most certainly not closing her legs for 2 years, we also know that she was increasing her body count during this time, which is exactly why she gave us a glimpse of the truth in parenthesis. She doesn't open up emotionally because she can't, and that's all there is to it. One of the reasons it freaks her out when a man is open with his feelings is because she knows that she is unable to reciprocate those feelings due to the fact that she's been passed around more than a football in a run and shoot offense. I swear to God, these bitches think we're stupid. They really do. Number 7. I crave an emotionally mature connection, but can't handle it in reality. I'd like to think that if I met the right guy, she says, that this won't feel so difficult. Hopefully he'll make me feel at ease and we'll get along so well that I can open up. That being said, the initial shock of trying to make that connection with someone is scary as hell. Again, not much to say here. This is kind of a regurgitation of number 6, which is being afraid that she can't open up emotionally because she knows she can't. Nothing really to say there. Number 8, I feel weird around traditionally successful guys. Oh my God. It's not necessary that a man be financially or materially successful. Oh boy. That's not the same thing as being a mature adult. On the other hand, most of the men I've met who are emotionally developed also have the rest of their act together, and it makes me feel like maybe I don't. First of all, for her to say that it's not necessary that a man be financially successful, that's disingenuous. Of course it matters. It matters to every woman, and that's okay. Wanting financial stability in a man it's not a crime any more than a man wanting physical attractiveness in a woman. But there are 2 main reasons she is posturing like this. Number 1, she doesn't want to come off as a gold digger. Number 2, she knows that her value isn't high enough to require anything of a man, much less financial or material success. She doesn't want to look like a fat guy who says, if she's not a 9 or a 10, I ain't interested. So she's taking the politically correct route by saying that a man's financial status is immaterial. Secondly, she tries to tell us that just because a man is financially successful doesn't mean he's a mature adult. And she's mostly wrong here. Any man who exercises financial shrewdness and discipline has to be a mature adult, okay? This is exactly why she says most of the men who are emotionally developed also have the rest of their act together. The only exceptions to the rule are, young pro athletes, or men who are young and healthy, men who are born on third base and, think they have a triple. Think they hit a triple. Number 9, I worry about feeling like I owe them. A truly evolved man, she continues, would never make me feel this way. The problem is I get paranoid because I hate being at a disadvantage. I take care of myself and pay my own bills, but also can't exactly go crazy throwing money around. I try not to care, but I always feel like I'm lacking. Okay, so let's break out our womanese translator, shall we? What she's saying is that if a man can take care of her financially, or at the very least elevate her lifestyle because of the money and resources he brings to the table in the relationship, then he shouldn't expect her to have sex with him when he wants it, if he's truly evolved. What it means is that she doesn't want to feel obligated to uphold her end of the bargain in a relationship, which means giving her man her body when he wants it. Which proves that, once again, women always want the benefits without any of the costs. All relationships are transactional, guys. All of them. The biggest part of the male end of the bargain is financial security. And the biggest part of the female end of the bargain is regular sex and exclusivity to her body. This is the unspoken agreement between men and women who commit to each other. A woman provides a man with her sexuality in exchange for access to his resources and vice versa. But according to Ms. Horton, an evolved man shouldn't expect anything in return for sharing his resources with a woman he's committed to, who is also committed to him. He should just do it out of the kindness of his heart. So let me ask this question. What if a man named Adam Horton wrote an article that said, a truly evolved woman would never make me feel like I owe it to her to share my resources with her because she gives me regular sex and keeps her legs closed with other men. The problem is that I get paranoid because I hate being at a disadvantage. I can have sex with random girls from time to time, but I can't exactly go out and get a new woman every night. Adam Horton would be public enemy number 1 overnight. He would have his name dragged through the mud. He'd be called a misogynist. He'd be called a woman hater. He would have women demanding that he share his resources and money with any woman who's committed to him and provides him with regular action in the bedroom. Now, to be fair, Ms. Horton is right. Okay? She's right. Women aren't obliged to do anything they don't want to do. Okay? If they don't want to give up the booty on the regular, they don't have to. If they don't feel like they should have to give their man, their bodies whenever they want it, nobody's holding a gun to their head. But on the other side of that coin, men aren't obliged to do anything either. We don't have to share our resources. We do not have to share our financial success. We do not have to provide for women if we don't want to. But here's the crux of the situation. Women in relationships still feel entitled to a man's resources even if they stop having sex with him. Women all over the West have either stopped or throttled the sexual frequency they give to their husbands. But because they have children, he can't exactly withdraw his resources, right? So he's essentially checkmated. Okay? But if their husbands step out on them on account of the lack of his wife's sexual availability, now it's a problem. A wife can close her legs and expect her husband to uphold his end of the bargain. But if a man cheats on her because she's withdrawn her sexual availability, she loses her fucking mind and cries the typical rhetoric, men are dogs, men cheat, men can't be trusted. Here's another thing. If a girl's boyfriend were to go broke or lose his job and her lifestyle gets downgraded because of his financial decrease, she leaves him, right? But if a man decides to leave because his woman isn't giving him sex anymore, he is vilified as a philanderer and an adulterer. The fact of the matter is that women characterize their end of the bargain as a debt that we owe to make sexual availability sound like it's forced or obligatory in order to give themselves permission to abandon their end of the bargain without consequences. They feel like they have the right to enjoy a man's resources even if they stop giving men their bodies. But then they want to turn right around and demonize men if they withdraw their money and resources or find another woman because his woman gains weight or stops putting out. So no, women don't have to do anything they don't want to do. You do not have to feel obliged. But guess what, ladies? Neither do we. Let's continue. Number 10. I am not interested in a standard lifestyle. Oh, okay. Again, she continues, there are exceptions to the rule, but most mature men that I meet are pretty stable in their lives. They have good jobs and they want a steady relationship and usually a home and a family and all the trappings. That just isn't for me, but I don't want to end up with an irresponsible bum either. You know, a lot of women these days say they don't want to have kids or start a family. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing because I've always said that just because you can doesn't mean you should. And that, of course, includes having children, right? Every man can be a father, but some men just aren't cut out to be a dad. It's the same with a woman. Any female can become a mother, but not all of them are cut out to be moms. So Amy telling us that she doesn't want kids or a family, that's not alarming. And to her credit, at least she's being honest. At least she's being completely honest and doesn't appear to habitually, mislead men into believing she wants kids, then pulls a bait and switch by faking, by an unplanned pregnancy. Then she says she doesn't want to end up with an irresponsible bum, but what she fails to realize is that she's in no position to be picky, okay? She's in her early 40s, not in her early 20s. And what she just described in terms of the man she wants is a man who is well off financially but doesn't want kids and lives a non-traditional lifestyle, right? Now, these men certainly exist, but they're not interested in long-term relationships with women like Amy Horton. They'll use women like her for one-night stands from time to time in case they're in a slump or put them on their roster to maintain their abundance mindset. But they don't take these bitches seriously for anything outside of sex. Listen, man, Amy Horton can want a high-value man all she wants. That's not against the law. But I wanted to be center fielder for the New York Yankees, and that ain't happening either. Number 11. I hate to admit that mature men test my confidence. I like to think that I've made great strides in the past few years and that I'm fairly self-confident now. It certainly feels that way until I come up against a guy who challenges the way I see myself and also the way I see men. I can't take a position of superiority and I don't want to be inferior, but I don't feel equal. This is the inner conflict that feminists regularly grapple with, okay? They're attracted to men who are superior to them. They're attracted to, that's in their biological makeup. But they don't want to be inferior, which is the feminist programming, okay? This is one of the main reasons why most modern women today are confused. The feminist in any given woman wants the appearance of equality with a man who is superior to her. But when they get with a man who actually is superior, they naturally feel inferior, which both arouses and baffles her. What Miss Horton is asking for is an alpha male who exhibits beta traits. She wants a high-value man who checks off all the boxes on paper, but wants him to dial back his power level to make her feel equal. And unfortunately for her, it don't work that way. A man in demand is never going to purposely make himself appear to be weaker or inferior just to appease his woman's insecurity about her value being lower than his. The reason women like Amy want to feel equal is because they want to maintain that abundance mindset. They like the feeling that comes with knowing that she can upgrade anytime she chooses. And as we have seen over the years, the abundant mindset causes women to regress. Knowing that they can get sausage anytime they want to, that removes the incentive to maintain or increase their value. They gain weight, they close their legs, and they behave any way they want to. Women like abundance because it's a lot easier to just exist without worrying about their men going anywhere. But when they get with a man who is superior to her, that abundance disappears and is replaced with scarcity. And even though women hate this feeling, this is good for both them and their men. Okay? Abundance causes women to regress. Scarcity causes women to progress. Knowing her man can get sex anytime he wants gives them incentive to maintain or increase her value. She's motivated to stay fit. She's motivated to give her man sex anytime he wants it. She's motivated to stay in pocket. Women don't like scarcity because it's a lot harder to keep themselves together to keep their men from stepping out on them. Again, abundance causes women to regress and scarcity motivates them to progress. Men are the polar opposite. We are absolutely the polar opposite. Okay? Abundance is good for us while scarcity is bad for us. Today's women want the easy solution, guys, okay? They rarely do what's difficult, but they want the rewards that come with doing what's hard. They want the hot body without having to hit the gym and watch their diets. They want a man who's superior to them, but then they don't want to feel inferior. Women always want it both ways, which seamlessly segues into number 12. I love the idea of a deep partnership, but not the work that's involved. Unbelievable. I'm not actually that different, she continues, from the rest of my generation in some ways. I'm used to the ease of being single, and while ideally I like a deep and loving adult relationship, I also know that it takes time and energy that I'm not sure I'm willing to give up. There you have it, guys. There you have it. Amy just told us exactly what we already know about today's females. They want the benefits of being in a committed relationship without having to give it the freedom that comes with being single. They want the payoff, but they don't want to pay. At some point, women do figure this out, but by the time they're willing to pay the price, it's too late. They don't have enough dating market equity to cash in. So they end up with the men that they rejected in their 20s, and it serves them right. Serves them right. Number 13. I'm honestly terrified when someone actually chooses me. She continues. I'm always falling for men who are unavailable in some way or another. I hate that I'm like this, and I know that I operate this way because it feels safer than engaging in risky vulnerability with someone who truly wants to be with me. Since when is sleeping with bad boys not risky behavior? Since when is having unprotected sex and emotionally investing in men who are bad for them safe? Amy's not terrified when someone actually chooses her. She's not afraid of risking vulnerability because she's done that her entire adult life with the wrong men. No, what she's really afraid of is that the men she chooses not choosing her. That's what she's really terrified of. Women like her engage in risky behavior all the time. So pretending that she's afraid of the risk is a ruse to make us believe that she isn't risky, which of course is a telltale sign of a slut. And she knows it. She knows it. Number 14. Number 14. I've been alone so long that dating a grown man actually baffles me. She continues, I've not had many mature relationships in my life. I've been in love and I've had serious boyfriends, but there was often an element of childishness to our interactions. We never really discussed our futures together or acted adult. Now I feel like I don't even know how to begin. This is what goes back. This goes back to what I talked about at the beginning of the video. Most of her relationships have been with assholes who treat her like garbage. Like I said, guys, Amy's used to dysfunction. It's all she knows. It's why dating any other kind of man baffles her, because she honestly has no idea how to conduct herself with a high caliber man. Luckily for her, she'll get to stay in her comfort zone because high value men won't go anywhere near her, which will make her readily available to the dudes who are more than willing to pass her around. And finally, number 15, I don't feel like my partner is more emotionally mature than me. This is the real kicker, she continues. If I find a fully open and emotionally vulnerable man to date, I have to then confront and deal with my own issues with exposing my heart. I don't know that I'm quite ready to go there, but then again, there's never an ideal time to face your fears. So, sorry about that. Okay, so once again, guys, the heading has nothing to do with what she wrote in this section, which seems to be sort of a reoccurring theme with these bold authors. But let's talk about what she pointed out here. Let's talk about what she... Oh, wait a minute, that's Glenn. Let's talk about what she pointed out here. If she does find a fully open and emotionally vulnerable guy to date, she's going to lose attraction to him. Okay? Women may like the idea of dating a man who is emotionally vulnerable because it looks great in movies and television, but women never stay with these guys. Why? Because vulnerability is weak, and women do not like or respect weak men. Guys, I'm here to tell you, pouring your heart out to a woman and doing things like having cute little chats about your feelings over lattes and vegan shortbread cookies, it dehydrates her lady parts in a hurry. Women don't want this, guys. They don't want this. They think they do, but they don't. And again, I speak from firsthand experience, guys. This is exactly why women don't stay with men who are emotionally vulnerable. And if they do stay with these men, they take advantage of their vulnerability because they despise weakness. So why on earth would we as men purposely make ourselves weak and vulnerable to women when they've showed us time and time again that they can and will take full advantage and exploit our weaknesses and vulnerabilities? Okay? That's the equivalent of a boxer intentionally dropping his left hand against Deontay Wilder, who arguably has the greatest right hand in history. What sense does that make? At the end of the day, gentlemen, women like Amy Horton, they're scared to date mature men because, number one, they know they're not turned on by them and don't want to end up with them. And number two, if they do run up on a dude who's worth a damn, they know he's not going to commit to her long term. And women simply do not handle rejection well at all. All this fear is ego. Okay? Amy doesn't want her ego bruised when a man of value tells her, thanks, but no thanks. I'm not looking for anything serious right now. When she angles for a relationship with a man she actually respects and loves, but find out days later he's on a weekend getaway with a hot 21-year-old who never met a recipe she didn't like, doesn't believe in putting a lock on her phone, and actually admits she likes doing things to make her man happy. She's even more baffled as to why she can't find this girl anywhere on social media. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? John Anderson with the $50 super chat. Appreciate that. Very, very much. Wish you had said something, but I appreciate that $50 super chat. Ken Rose with the $5 super chat. Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Let me check and see if any, all right, very good. Okay. Okay, very good. Let me, TB Osama says, Unk spitting facts. You know it. You know it. Yep. Hell yeah. That's all I know how to do, y'all. Luke Perry says that this is an awesome rant. Yep. Absolutely. I can do this every day. I can do this every day. Rogue Nation says this seems scripted. Yep. Yes, it is. It's scripted by me. Unfinished Business says Horton or Horton. Yeah, Horton. Absolutely. Crimson Eclipse says I can fix him. Azariah says hoodie and beanie on the inside, bruh, come on. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, hold on a second. What's wrong with my, hold on. Wait. Why you hating on the swag, man? Why you hating on the swag? No, Azariah, what you have to understand is that I'm not a flashy dude. I'm really not. Okay? I own really nice clothes. I don't wear them on the regular. I don't wear them online. I've got a few really, really nice cars, but that's the only, my cars when I'm out and about, that's the only inkling that people would ever have if I had money, you know, or that's the inkling they had. That's the inkling that, okay, maybe that guy's got some money because he's driving XYZ car. But no, I'm not a flashy dude. Don't hate on the swag, man. Don't hate on the swag. Actually, I think this hoodie is like I think this hoodie is like 5 years old, so I don't know. Maybe you do have a point there, Azariah. But don't worry about what I'm wearing. Worry about the message, goddammit. Worry about the message. Robert Eliezer says, I can't hate on the Eagles gear because I'm a bitter Jags fan. Oh, boy. Eesh. Eesh. Somebody asked, Wild Hades 3 says, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl, Donovan? If it's a one-score game, the Chiefs are going to win. If it's a one-score game, the Chiefs are going to win. And the reason why the Chiefs will win is for two reasons. Number one, because Mahomes listen, Patrick Mahomes is exceptional in high-leverage situations. But the second reason is because they will most assuredly get the right call. You guys know how it goes, man. Anytime there is in a high-leverage moment, when there's a high-leverage moment that gives the other team the advantage, the referees are going to give the Chiefs the advantage. It happened 2 years ago in Super Bowl 59. James Bradbury held Juju Smith-Schuster. He had been getting away with that all game long, but they chose to call it at that point. Here's the second reason. The Kansas City Chiefs, the last two Super Bowls they've been in, that they've won, not one single holding call on their offensive line. Not one holding call against the Eagles, not one holding call against the 49ers. So if it's a one-score game, the Chiefs are going to win. It's going to be a blowout, gentlemen. That's the only way the Eagles win. That's the only way the Eagles are going to win. If the Eagles win this game, it's going to have to be 48-10, 52-20. We're going to have to blow out the Chiefs. We're going to have to blow out the Chiefs. We're going to have to do it quick. We're going to have to boat race those boys. Okay? We need to end this game in the middle of the third quarter. That's what we need. That's what we need to do. Because if this game is close, Kansas City is definitely going to win. We absolutely have to blow out the Chiefs if we want any chance. If there is any chance to win Super Bowl 59, the Eagles absolutely positively have to blow out the Kansas City Chiefs. There's just no other way. TD Hutch says wealthy people are not flashy.
Nope.
No, we are not. No, we are not. Dude, I'm gonna tell you what, man. Like, dude, like walking around in flashy clothes, guys, makes you a target. Like it does. It does. Luke Perry says, talking about football, where's Armando the expert? Yeah. Armando Moreno doesn't really watch. I think he watches the Raiders. But who knows? JDM 8021 says, do you think there's a hold on almost every play? I don't know. What is a hold on, whether or not I think there's a hold on almost every play, that doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that teams are guilty of holding. All of them are. But the last two Super Bowls, you mean to tell me that the Kansas City Chiefs didn't get called for one holding call? Yeah, the fix is in. Nice try, JDM. Nice try. JDM is clearly a Chiefs fan. Listen, even Chiefs fans know they get the benefit of the doubt. No, I'm not saying the NFL is rigged or fixed. That would be impossible. But a good friend of mine, a friend of a good friend of mine, once told me, he says, if you want to fix games, you don't pay the league, you don't pay the players, you don't pay the coaches. You pay the referees. You pay the referees. Nobody is paying the referees to fix games with the Kansas City Chiefs. But there is a clear and obvious bias when it comes to high leverage 50-50 calls involving the Chiefs. Josh Allen absolutely got that first down. Xavier Worthy positively did not catch the football. And as it happens, every time there is a call for the Chiefs or against the opposition, the Kansas City Chiefs convert those into touchdowns 128% of the time. So yeah, we got to blow those boys out. I don't give a fuck if I think there's a holding on every play. You're attempting to take me down this rabbit hole so that you can win this debate. You can win this debate all you want to, bruh. The Chiefs get the Chiefs get all the questionable calls, and there's nothing that you or anybody else can say to prove otherwise. We all fucking see it. Everybody sees it. David Esquire says the refs fixed the 2006 NBA Finals. Guys, I'm gonna put you in timeout, David Esquire. Listen, man, I'm not getting into. I'm not doing that. Not doing that. I'm not getting into conspiracy theories. They fixed this and that and the other. Blah 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 blah. No, not doing it. Not doing it. Ain't nobody fixing nothing. Nobody's fixing nothing. You don't know that the '06 finals were fixed, and neither do we. Stop it. The burden of proof. And it's so funny. The burden of proof, there is no burden of proof. All you have to do is say, well, it was fixed. No, it's not on the NBA to prove that it was not fixed. It's on you to prove that it was fixed. Fuck out of here, man. Dre Raven says, I'm a Chiefs fan, and Donovan is right about the Chiefs. Donovan is right about the refs. Listen, man. Listen, Super Bowl 40 should have been won by the Seattle Seahawks. Should have been won by the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks absolutely got hosed in Super Bowl 40. They should have won that football game. They did a poll in the newspaper, in the Pittsburgh Gazette, after Super Bowl 40, and 78% of Steelers fans also agreed that the refs screwed the Seahawks. They're like, yep, they got hosed, but we'll take the W. We'll take the W. Fly Eagles Fly, please save us from the Chiefs. JDM says, no, Donovan, I'm a Niners fan. I can't stand the Chiefs. Okay, so why are you asking me if I think there's a hold on every play? Luke Perry with the $2 super chat says, new show on Zeus with Aaron the Plumber. Someone posted in Discord. Yeah, I am definitely going to check that out. Definitely going to check that out. It is now time for the main event. Are you ready? So, Pearl recently had a debate with a card-carrying feminist. And to say it was predictably disgusting is probably an understatement. So without further ado, here is Pearl versus militant feminist. Let's go.
If men's jobs disappeared tomorrow, society would crumble.
Oops.
If women's jobs disappeared tomorrow, society would be fine.
Oh, boy.
Oh, really? Who's going to raise all the children?
Yeah, women, bitch.
Do you think society...
You see, you're gonna raise all the children. This bitch always has a fucking answer for everything. Typical fucking feminist, man. Typical feminist. Ay.
discriminates more against men or women, or do you think it's equal?
I think that they discriminate more against women, but I don't. That's not to say that men aren't discriminated against in some aspects.
Okay, let me stop it right there. Guys. What feminists love to do is they like to play the victim. Okay, they've been doing this for ages. But lately, they've added sort of a curveball, like a fake curveball, if you will. Okay, so they'll say things like, okay, women are discriminated against, but so are men. Gentlemen, they don't believe that. They don't believe that one bit. The only reason they add in the but so are men is to give themselves a false sense of credibility. Okay? Women like her, this woman, they expect that when they verbally acknowledge the fact that men are discriminated against, and remember, she qualified it by saying, to some degree, okay? But they expect detractors of feminism like myself to say, well, how about that? She acknowledges that men are discriminated against. She's a truth teller because she's acknowledging something most feminists don't acknowledge. So let's listen to what she has to say about female discrimination. The fact that she's honest about men's issues must mean she's telling the truth about women's issues. Nope. Hell no. Bitches like this insult the intelligence of men everywhere. She doesn't believe for 1 second that men are routinely discriminated against, nor does she care. The reason she pretends to care is because she's on camera. Okay? This woman's behavior is much like the behavior... Oops. This woman's behavior is much like the behavior of single moms. Okay? They act a lot like single mothers. What do I mean by that? It's very simple. Most single mothers are terrible moms. And the reason we know this is because every one of us in here have witnessed the exploit of single mothers our entire lives. Hell, some of us in here were even raised by single mothers, so we know and have experienced firsthand what terrible moms they are. Right? So we know that they're selfish, we know they're impulsive, we know they act before thinking. We're aware of all of this. But the reason most people are unaware of this is because single mothers only pretend to care when they're in front of a camera. Off camera, they're terrible moms. They don't discipline their kids. They ignore their kids for their smartphones. They're swiping right for dick on Tinder. They're doing all that shady shit. But when there's someone with a smartphone and recording all the interactions and taking pictures, all of a sudden they become the mother of the fucking year. When they're by themselves with their kids, they have zero patience. They don't discipline them. They're yelling at them all the time, talking shit about the baby daddy and so forth. But when they're in a crowd of people or in public, or if someone's recording with a smartphone, they transform like Optimus Prime. It's the same as this woman here, gents. It's the same as this woman here. off camera, you can be rest assured that this bitch says things like, I bathe in male tears, or women need men like fish need bicycles. Any feminist who disingenuously acknowledges that men get the short end of the stick in any capacity are always the worst of the man-hating, bra-burning feminists. Just like single mothers who appear to be good moms on social media are always the worst moms. The kinds of moms who leave their kids alone when she goes to the club, or stashes them with their mother, or brings random men around her kids all the time. The fact that this woman acknowledges that men are discriminated against verbally only means that she is absolutely 657% a misandrist to the highest degree. Let's continue.
Okay, how are women more discriminated against?
As I've said before, in my own personal experience and statistically.
Other than, can
Here
we
we
do
go.
something other than just people say mean words to me?
Thank you.
Because men, by the time they're 22, somebody said a mean word to them. Usually it's a woman. So
shit.
anything other than somebody said something I don't like.
Abortion bans. Can you name a law that controls what men can do and access healthcare and the healthcare that men can access? Is there any laws that control men's healthcare access?
Well, if you want to talk about men's body,
Guys, is there any law that controls men's healthcare access? Guys, this is the hill that militant misandrists like this harpy die on every day. Any woman who is asked a question like this, they always talk about abortion. And as a side note, pay attention here, guys. I'm not going to use the A word anymore. I'm not going to use the abortion word anymore for obvious reasons. I got to deal with the unfairness of the algorithm pushing me down the list. So I'm going to refrain from using the actual word. Instead, I'm going to say it backwards, which is noit roba. Okay, so when you hear me say noit roba, you know it means the A word. Anyway, even when I was on the Savo Brothers podcast a while back, okay, I asked this stupid girl, name one right that men have, name one right that that men have that women don't. And she said, let's talk about reproductive rights. Obviously talking about noit roba. Now, first of all, she contradicted herself. Okay, we men, we are unable to get noit robas. So right off the bat, she named something that women can do that men can't, which was exactly my question and proved my point right then and there. But I want you to consider this. And guys, I really, really need you to listen when I tell you this, because a lot of people who are both for and against noit roba fail to understand this immutable truth that not only proves that noit roba is fundamentally wrong, but legally wrong. Okay? Most people have a remedial understanding of the Hippocratic Oath that doctors take before, I guess, they're sworn in as doctors, right? Most of us are unfamiliar with the intricacies of the oath, but the one phrase that most people universally know and understand is do no harm. Do no harm. Okay? Do no harm in the Hippocratic Oath refers to the fundamental principle of a healthcare professional, in this case a doctor, to avoid causing any unnecessary harm to a patient, prioritizing their well-being, and minimizing potentially negative consequences of treatment. Now, at this point, some of you are probably asking, okay, well, what does the Hippocratic Oath have to do with noit robas? Simple. And again, turn up your volume. Okay? My older listeners, turn up your hearing aid. My younger listeners, hit the screen record button on your smartphone. My female listeners, all two of you, buckle up. Buckle up. The noit roba is the only legal medical procedure that goes directly against the Hippocratic Oath. Let me repeat that. The noit roba is the only legal medical procedure that directly goes against the Hippocratic Oath. Well, what do you mean, Donovan? What are you talking about? Easy. Do no harm. You remember that? Well, guess what? Noit robas clearly harm the unborn children. In fact, it unalives them. It ends their lives. As a doctor, if you have taken a vow to do no harm, which again is in the Hippocratic Oath, then how can you as a medical professional live with the fact that you are ending the life of a human being before they take their first breath? And if you have ever seen horrific videos of a noit roba being performed, you can clearly see that there is fatal harm being done to the child inside. And feminists can talk all they want about the less than a fraction of 1% of unplanned pregnancies which were caused by rape or incest. We can sit here and we can pretend to believe all the bullshit excuses for women that women give for ending the lives of their unborn children. I can't bring a child into this cruel world. Simple solution, put him up for adoption. I'm not ready to be a parent. Again, put him up for adoption. I don't want him or her to be in foster care. Okay, so raise the little fucker yourself. Oh, wait a minute. That would mean being responsible and taking accountability. My body, my choice. Very true. It is your body and your choice, but you don't own your children, ladies. You see, your child's body is not your body. Your body, your choice. Okay, fine. But you're making a unilateral decision to terminate a life without their consent. Well, what if she were EPARD? Again, a fraction of percentages of a percentage of unplanned pregnancies happen this way. Besides, regret is not rape. Just because he raw dogged you and didn't call you the next day does not give you the right to retroactively withdraw consent. Try again. The only reason why women fight so hard and want to die on this hill is because Noit Roba is yet another way for women to escape accountability for their irresponsible actions. Most girls we see on Fresh and Fit are not on a relationship, but somehow always on birth control, right? They're not in a relationship, but on birth control. And the women who are not in relationships are on birth control or are not on birth control. Imagine that. Well, are you single or well, I'm not in a relationship, but I'm on birth control. Yeah, I'm in a relationship, but I'm not. It just doesn't make any sense. Having unprotected sex with random men is irresponsible for many reasons, okay? Not the least of which is an unwanted pregnancy. And Noit Roba, or abortion spelled backwards, gives women another golden parachute to rescue them from their bad decisions. That's why this woman is making such a big deal out of Noit Roba. It's the only thing she can point to where perceived discrimination gives her the confidence to insist that women are oppressed in this part of the world. Let's continue.
Men are required to go into selective service. So if there is a wartime, they are required to be drafted.
Yeah, and I think that the draft should be abolished.
So you asked.
Yeah, and I think the draft should be abolished. Now she says she wants the draft to be abolished. No, she doesn't. That's fucking cap. She's lying. She didn't want the draft to be abolished. Again, the only reason why she's saying she wants the draft to be abolished is so that she can continue playing the victim. She's reserving the right to advocate for Noit Roba, and when she's challenged on the draft like Pearl just did, she can just say, well, I'm against the draft, so she can play the victim card. But deep down, she doesn't want the draft abolished. She's a man hater, remember? And women who hate men, they don't give a damn about the well-being of men, except when they're on camera trying to justify their bad behavior, just like single mothers do. Single mothers care about their children's well-being about as much as a feminist cares about the well-being of men. Never, ever forget that.
For a law, there's a law. There's a way that women's bodies aren't protected. There's a way men's bodies aren't protected.
No, so it was actually, my question was different. My question was, can you name a law that restricts men's access to health care?
Moving the goalpost. She changed her question to appear to be right. Okay? But there are no laws that restricts a woman's access to health care. All she is talking about is Noit Roba. And all she has to do is drive to another state if she really wants one. Not only that, guys, there are 348 different kinds of birth control for women that can be prescribed by a healthcare provider. Gentlemen, I think it is absolutely sickening. It is absolutely sickening that women consider abortion as a form of healthcare. Abortions are not healthy for the mother or the unborn child, and there certainly isn't any care involved. Noit Robas are not a form of healthcare. Nobody buys this except for feminists. The only reason they're characterizing Noit Robas as healthcare is to justify it as a basic human right. First off, healthcare is not a basic human right. Doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals, they don't work for free, nor should they. The reason we don't give away free cars is because car manufacturers don't make cars for free. Okay? Those factory workers aren't working 10, 12, 14-hour days for nothing. They got families to feed. They got bills to pay. And they're not going to school for 4, 8, and 10 years to become factory workers. But doctors and nurses have to be highly educated. They got to do pre-med in college. Then they got to do medical school. Then they got to do post-secondary education. Then they got to do the residency and all the rest of that. Okay? These things cost time, money, and people. So to expect healthcare professionals to work for free because you think healthcare is a basic human right just speaks to how clueless women like this are about how the economy works. She's a doctor, guys. Newsflash, she's a doctor, or she will be soon. Do you think she would work for free?
Nope.
Of course not. She'll say she would to virtue signal, just like her acknowledging that men are discriminated against, but she really doesn't care she really doesn't care. She really doesn't care. And that she wants the draft abolished, which she doesn't. We all know she wouldn't work for free, but I really, really hate it. I really hate it when women like this characterize the right to terminate their own unborn child as a basic human right. Here's a basic human right for you. How about a person's basic right not to be unalive before they're born? But again, women are selfish to a fault, even when it comes to their own children. Incredible.
That restricts men's access to health care. No, not off the top of my head.
So there you go. That's one
Yeah, there you go.
How
discriminatory.
are
Yeah,
women restricted access to health care? You can drive to another state and get an abortion.
Yeah, well, then that's also not taking into account like socioeconomic factors,
Oh
right?
my
Because
God.
not every person has the ability or the funds. Or
And this is where the notion of personal responsibility comes into play. If you know that you don't have the ability or the funds or the time to drive to another state for this deadly procedure, then why aren't we proactively avoiding these situations? Why aren't we on the pill? Why aren't we getting the shot? Why don't we do birth control? Why aren't we taking a plan B? So again, she's making women the victim for acting irresponsibly. Well, what if they don't have the time or the money or the ability? Well, what if they did the responsible thing and get on birth control if they're having unprotected sex? Gentlemen, I feel not 1 ounce of pity for poor people who put themselves in these situations. None whatsoever. There are way too many forms of birth control to blame the paradoxical decision of Inoit Roba on socioeconomic or status or lack thereof. She can miss me with that nonsense. Fuck out of here, man.
or the time
This
to
bitch.
be able to
Always an
just cross
excuse.
state lines to gain access. We shouldn't have different healthcare access in different states. Your geographical location should not determine your access to a human
Please.
right.
Human right.
Well-
and again, a human right to terminate your pregnancy.
Again, luckily for women, we have access to birth control,
Thank you.
abstinence, and even you can even track your cycle and not get pregnant. So I think there's plenty of options beforehand that it really isn't an excuse if you have an unplanned pregnancy.
So actually, about 50% of unplanned pregnancies used protection.
Guys, 50% of unplanned pregnancies use protection. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. Straight up. Straight up. This woman just made up a statistic to absolve women of their bad decisions. There is positively no way that 50% of unplanned pregnancies use protection. I don't need studies or statistics to know that. She's full of shit. You see, guys, this is what women do. They lie to win an argument. What this woman just said is a flat out lie. That statistic was just made up out of thin air to remove responsibility from modern women. Get the fuck out of here.
And so that's just
Well,
an
then
incorrect statement.
you should learn to use it better.
That's
And
not
the
how that
other and
works.
the other thing is after the kid's born, you could argue that it's an equally irresponsible
Sure.
move.
Absolutely.
When men and women have unprotected sex. or there's
Absolutely.
some problem with the birth control. Fine. Equally irresponsible.
Fine, whatever.
But after the woman has more control.
Yep.
She has the right to she's the only one who gets to decide if she takes a plan B. She's the only one that gets to decide to put him on child support or alimony if they're married. Men don't have a right to their wallets after the kid is born.
Yeah, so pregnancy involves your body and your internal organs, and that is worth more than any money.
Yeah, but that's 9 months, a year. What about the rest of the time? What about 18 years after?
Always
Right,
an
and so then there's like 2 years after that you're breastfeeding, and then there's the unequal division of childcare and
Oh my
domestic
God.
labor.
Oh my
So
God.
it's so much more than 9 months. But to go back, we cannot minimize that 9 months. having your body be not your own for 9 months is 9 months too long.
Oh my God. Where the fuck do I start with that one? Having your body not be your own is 9 months too long. Okay, guys, first of all, what she just said shows you how selfish today's women are. They easily forget that their mothers carried them for 9 months and endured pregnancy and childbirth. So for her to say that it's 9 months too long, that is a character flaw. This woman is selfish, she's irresponsible, and she sounds like a bad fucking human being. Carrying a child to term is the sacrifice you sign up for when you take a man's load. If you're going to have unprotected sex, you need to understand that you are going to have to carry that child to term, and the things that are involved with it, that is part of the gig. You can't have all the fun without any of the costs. Secondly, she said that having your body not be your own, but then in the same breath say, my body, my choice. If your body is not your own for 9 months, then how are you able to make a decision about a body that she says is not her own? It's not your body for 9 months. So doesn't that mean the choices you make are not yours? So she contradicted herself here. Third, the fact that she says her body is not her own for 9 months, this means she acknowledges that the child comes first in the hierarchy of priority. That's her feminine firmware talking. She's telling us that the unborn child isn't the priority, what with all of her excuses and reasons why the availability to unalive, the ability to unalive one is a basic human right. But when push comes to shove, her female hard drive, which is on autopilot as it should be, tells her baby comes first, baby comes first. So much so that she is mentally sacrificing her body for her child, which is exactly why she made the statement. Having your body not be your own, she knows that her entire existence during pregnancy is dedicated to the growth of the human being grown in her stomach. Women gonna women, guys, even when they don't want to be. Let's continue.
Yeah, but there are men dying when they go and do their jobs. And
They
they're
can get a
not
different job.
complaining about it.
They can get a different
They can get they can get a different job. Yeah, really, who's gonna fight the wars?
No, because men understand that somebody has to do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, they don't have to do it.
They
No. They don't have to do it, but somebody's got to, sweet cheeks.
understand. Well, that's why it's admirable that they do it anyway and they don't complain. And that's what I keep going back to is what feminists tend to want is they want all of the credit and they want to over exaggerate their problems.
So I would actually like to go back to the comparison you made of
See, she just lost that argument. See, here, that's her move. She just lost the argument, so she likes to say, okay, well, I'd like to go back and talk about this.
pregnancy and men going to work.
No, not to work, sweet cheeks, to war.
You think those two things are the same?
I think that a man going to a dangerous job is far worse
Hell
than
yeah.
being pregnant.
Hell
Do
yeah.
you think that the majority of men
Far
work-
more dangerous.
See, now she's moving the goalposts. The majority?
Sorry, that's more accurate. Better and good is like it's
Subjective,
subjective, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and as I've said before, I think that we should have better safety protocols and we should improve the safety of all workers. So I think
Yeah, there are no safety protocols in war, doctor. It is killed or be killed. And by the way, who would enforce these mythical safety protocols? Women? No, men.
that that should be addressed, but also the
Should-
majority
should,
of men.
but it isn't, right?
Thank you.
Like,
Right,
so
but
when
are
we-
you
when we go-
arguing for it to be?
Here's
See, now she's trying to insult
so
her.
Feminists have a tendency to think that if we complain, things will just happen. And I'm more realistic, where I know that just because we say, oh, it should be better, well, it's not.
So
And men understand that because they have had to deal with that reality from a young age.
That's right.
you recognize that the only reason you have a microphone and you have a show is because feminists complain because we wanted a voice.
No, she has a microphone because men built it.
That's
Because
not true.
it actually is.
No.
Being,
There was
having,
writers, there was female writers in the 1800s, 1700s,
and they had to write
and
under
1600s.
male pseudonyms.
Oh,
not true.
please.
It
That
is
is
true.
not. No, it's
It-
not.
Well, you can say it's not
This woman has no idea what she's talking about.
true, but it's history.
not
And it's,
true.
No, baby, it's not true. See, again, not only is she lying, she's wrong, and she won't concede that she's wrong.
Statistics. It is.
It's statistic.
It is. We used
There
to
were
not
women in
have a
power. We
voice.
had Cleopatra. We had women in power.
Thank
throughout all of
you.
history.
Helen of Troy, the face that launched the 1,000 ships. Stop it.
There are examples of them.
When were
The
women?
first female property owner was in the 1600s in the United States.
When were women allowed to have their own bank accounts?
What does bank accounts have to do with anything? See, do you see how she just changed the goalpost?
Women
Whenever she loses an argument, she likes to change the goalpost. Reverend Brown with the $10 super chat says women try to circumvent the existence of the life of the baby in their belly by classifying it as just a clump of cells. These geniuses, technically everyone is just a clump of cells. Exactly. They call it the difference between a baby and a fetus. Ridiculous, man. Switchblade with the $5 super chat says there's no such thing, in my opinion, called unplanned pregnancy, as again, you can control the circumstances not to get pregnant, ladies. I might be wrong. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Marco says important thing to note is some women are used to toothpicking men's condoms out of sight just to get pregnant and extort him. Our crazy ones do that a lot around here. Absolutely. Dr. B84 with a $10 super chat says a lot of women have zero clue about the lives of men and really think we live the same kind of life. Nora Vincent proved this when she lived life as a man. There you go. Very, very well said. Very, very well said. Kevin Spamuels on the Rumble side says saying you're not pro-life is inversely saying that you're pro-death. One could, yeah. Agent Cappy says, how would she know she was never pregnant? Single women, SMH. Playmaker Ghetto says, Donovan, what you just said about healthcare, that is why I am against this BS called universal healthcare, as it screws over the doctors. Absolutely. 100%. Very, very well said. Let's continue.
women were allowed to have their own bank accounts in 19. What does that have to do with writing?
Thank you.
The topic.
No,
There
no,
you
I'm
go.
not.
You're changing the topic because I'm right. They were
No.
allowed to.
Oh, you're changing the topic because I'm right. See, Pearl just systematically took up, well, women weren't allowed to write and this and that and the other. Pearl's like, no, bitch, you're wrong. Cleopatra, Helen of Troy, Charlotte and Emily Bronte, the Bronte sisters, Wuthering Heights, all the rest of that. So she just decides, and see what this woman is doing, she's not discussing, she's debating. She doesn't want to get it right, she wants to be right. That's why she keeps changing the subject.
They were.
You're the one who brought up female writers.
But okay,
That wasn't the question.
Go ahead. So, sometime in the 1900s, I can't remember the year.
Yeah, it was like in the 1970s
Yeah, around
is
there.
when women were allowed to have bank accounts. So when we're talking
And
about women,
what's happened since we got bank accounts?
Uh-oh.
We own
You tell me.
80% of the world's debt.
Thank
There's a reason
you.
people did things the way they did.
you don't think that women should be able to have their own bank accounts?
Did she say that? She didn't say that.
I don't think they shouldn't have bank accounts. I think everyone should have the right, and they do. But there's a reason. I think when we look at the past, we have to look at the reason that people did things. And one of the reasons is women are very irresponsible with money.
Thank
own
you.
80% of the world's debt, even though they make less money than men.
So did you know that the majority of household finances are regulated and controlled by women?
Yeah, I knew that. We
That just literally proves her point.
make 80% of consumer buying decisions.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. They
Yeah,
spend.
there you go. Yeah, see that? See that? You literally just walked into it. You literally just proved Pearl's point.
And you
That's what I said. They
There it is. Pearl's like, yeah, I got you there, sweetie. Like, you're wrong.
money.
Because
They spend money
households-
they don't have.
we do have the money.
No, you don't. Otherwise, you wouldn't have 80% of the debt.
Or, I mean, the average woman out of college has $30,000 worth. How much debt do you have? You have to have six figures coming out of
I
med
do have
school.
6 figures
Yeah,
of debt, and
exactly.
the student
And the-
debt. Yeah, because
And the
if
thing
you
is, in your profession, I mean, on average, women leave the medical profession when they have a kid or within 5 years. So odds are you won't pay it off. And it makes, I'm not saying you personally, I hope you do, right? I'm not wishing it one way or another. But statistically, women make their debt someone else's problem.
Ooh.
men do the same thing.
No, here we go. Men do the same thing. What about Demendo? See, there it is. Pearl just got her on that point. So what's the move? Well, men do it too. No, we don't. Dude, men don't. Dude, no, we don't do the same thing. We can't do the same thing. What are we talking about?
They don't. So they looked at women paying off their debt and men paying off their college debt, and men have been making payments towards it the last 5 years and women haven't.
There you go. Proved her point again. There you go. There you go. This woman has absolutely no idea what she's talking about. Well, okay, so women make women make men pay their debt. Women, other debt's their problem. Well, men do the same thing. No, we don't. Our debt is our debt.
So it's funny because you just mentioned how women will leave their careers because they have to take care of children, and that probably plays a large role into why they're not able to pay back their student debt.
Oh, well, wait a minute. I thought women could have it all. I thought women could be the power, be the doctor and the mom. So which is it?
Compared to men who continue to be a part of the workforce even after they have children. Do you see how those two things might be correlated?
No, I don't actually.
No, because women aren't having kids anymore.
Oh,
that would have been the case. Maybe the
case. No, we are. No, you're not.
Before, but now they're not really having children.
We are still having children.
No, you're not.
That's
on average, it's like 1.5 now. So, I mean, you have one kid, you can put it in daycare, you can still work.
You can put it in daycare.
Sorry, his or hers.
Yeah. See, and this is the problem is when we see people as commodities.
Okay, so now, isn't that cute? So now she wants to see unborn children as people. She seized on Pearl's Freudian slip when Pearl said, put it in daycare. But she didn't realize that speaking up and making a big deal out of the word it, she's now going against her very mindset. Any woman who is pro-Noit Roba, pro-abortion, clearly sees unborn children as commodities. Otherwise, why advocate for it, right? Gentlemen, all she's doing here is virtue signaling while also being wishy-washy. One minute she's bitching about ending the life of an unborn child as a basic human right, and the next she's lecturing Pearl on people thinking of children as commodities. She didn't realize that Pearl's comment is more in line with her line of thinking. But because she's getting her ass handed to her in this discussion, and that Pearl has effectively and surgically destroyed all of her talking points to the point now where she's just making up fictitious statistics, she's now trying to get a win anywhere she can by taking, again, a Freudian slip a lot more seriously than she should. Fuck out of here with that, man. This woman's arguing in bad faith.
Instead of actual people, that's where we run into this thing of I don't care how you feel, you make stupid decisions, instead of taking a nuanced perspective and the complexity of the
this is all literally just bitch babble. She's contradicting her pro-abortion stance here. Now all of a sudden she wants to think of people as not commodities.
Human experience and recognizing that there are so many things that contribute into these cherry-picked statistics.
Well, you think that the world owes you understanding, and it doesn't.
I think that it does.
No,
I think
it doesn't.
that we owe everybody understanding. I think that in order for me, so you know what? I think that this is something we need to clarify.
Yeah, go ahead.
I partake in these conversations because I want a better world. I develop my opinions based on how I think, or based on what I think.
Okay, so now she's trying to say, well, Pearl, the only reason you do what you should do what you do and try to improve the world. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Is going to improve the human condition and improve people's quality of life.
And this, gentleman, is why women shouldn't vote. Yeah, I said it. This is why women shouldn't vote. This woman, who is clearly a man-hating feminist, who thinks that giving women unfettered access to Noit Robas is going to make the world a better place. It's what she thinks. It's the way most modern women think. This woman truly believes that her way of thinking will make the world a better place. This woman is doing her level best to remove all responsibility and all accountability from women making bad decisions, but we're going to trust her to make the world a better place? Let me let you guys in on a little secret. Modern women don't give a fuck about anybody but themselves. When they say, I want to make the world a better place, what they mean is, I want the world to cater to me, everything else be damned. Anything a modern woman advocates for always benefits them in some way, shape, or form. If it happens to benefit someone other than themselves, they seize on that to virtue signal. But they don't care if it does. Anything a modern woman is passionate about always benefits them, and in most cases only benefits them. So this future cat lady says she wants the world to be a better place. No, she doesn't. She wants the world to be a better place for her. She wants to continue to make bad decisions and not suffer the consequences. She wants to continue this trend of giving women all of the authority without any responsibility. And make no mistake, this is exactly what she's talking about. Switchblade 98, $5 super chat says, women out of college have 5 figures in debt, since most times they study something stupid like race studies, not STEM that helps society overall. Exactly. Absolutely.
Why do you take part in these conversations?
Now she's asking, why do you take part in these conversations? So now I can lecture you on what your intention should be.
I like to report on what's going on.
Okay, so you have no desire to improve the world and to be like an advocate.
She's doing what Hafiz is doing, guys. She's doing what Hafiz is doing. Hafiz is like, well, the reason you should do this is because of X, Y, Z. You should really, no, Hafiz. No, Hafiz. Not everybody wants to make the world a better place. And again, this is virtue signaling. This bitch does not want to make the world a better place. She's saying she wants to make the world a better place to make herself sound. This is virtue signaling.
For change and progression.
It would be nice, but I don't expect it.
See, and for me, one of my favorite quotes is, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
Now she's reciting posters. Now she's, and again, none of these thoughts that are coming from this woman's mind, none of these things this woman is saying are things that come from her mind. This is all just bitch battle. It's all prattle that she's heard other people say. This woman isn't going to change the world, man. She is another insignificant misandrist who thinks she's more important because she likes debate people like Pearl. And now she's sitting here virtue signaling, trying to shame Pearl for not wanting to change the world. I swear, these bitches are always doing this shit, man.
And you can
In
call
my
me a
experience,
dreamer.
they're the ones who do not.
I mean, historically, you're wrong.
No,
I don't think so.
No.
Martin Luther King had a dream, didn't he?
Yeah, but most dudes ain't Martin Luther King, bitch. Nice try.
How many guys tried to be Martin Luther King?
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm not saying that
And that's a societal issue because
Now, see, there it is. There it is. Pearl just pointed out the fact that if you're too scared and to change the world, Pearl's like, bitch, live in the fucking reality. And now that she proved her wrong, well, now this is the problem with society. This isn't a discussion. This is ridiculous.
we resist progression, and you're one of the people who is allowing society to resist progression instead of allowing progression to happen.
No, you want to know why? No. You want to know why we resist progression? Because depression is degeneracy. You want to know? Listen, if you want to know where all of this progression leads, take a look at the black community. Take a look at the black community. Guys, I have always said, if you want to know, if you want to see what the future of feminism looks like, look no further than the black community. The black community the black community shows us what will happen to society if feminism continues to spread like it is. The black community is light years ahead of anybody. You look at the black community, that is what the black community is what feminism looks like in the future. Degeneracy, most kids being born out of wedlock, self-hate, and nigga shit. Look at the black community. Listen, a lot of people say, well, where do you see society going in 5 years if feminism isn't stopped? Look at the black community. That is all you need to see.
Am I allowing society to, what does that even mean?
Yeah, so you...
Okay, no, go ahead, it's fine.
Yeah, because you say, I see the reality right now, and I report on the reality right now. And when I say, yeah, we should recognize what's happening now and improve on it, you say, oh, men are dying in the workplace. And I'm like, okay, let's address that. Let's see why they're doing that. Let's see how we can improve on that. And then you're like, yeah, that's not realistic. I live in reality. Where you see how I am advocating for progression. I'm advocating
again, we are pointing out your delusion.
For improvement, where you're just like, yeah, you know what? That's not the world we live in. And I don't have any idea or any desire to improve on the shitty statistics that I constantly report on.
Unbelievable. Yeah, we do have a desire to help people. We have a desire to help men. Stay away from women like you. That's why we do this.
Yeah, so I think that sounds nice, but again, it doesn't change the reality of the situation. So
Hell
you
yeah.
saying something on a podcast doesn't change the amount of men that die every year in a crab fishing boat.
Oh, got her. There it is.
But what I like to do is be as accurate as I possibly can. And that is why I say that women do not do as useful or as needed jobs in society as men do. If men's jobs disappeared tomorrow, society would crumble. If women's jobs disappeared tomorrow, society would be fine.
Oh, really? Who's going to raise all the children?
Yeah, the women,
Women
bitch.
aren't even raising their own kids. They're in daycare.
Oh,
That's actually
They're
incorrect.
in daycare and
that's actually incorrect. Are you kidding me? See, this is why we know this woman is out of her depth. Dude, most women have their kids in fucking daycare. Nope, that's not true. What?
public school. It's
No.
$1 billion industry.
Thank you.
It is a $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
But,
It is a $1 billion industry because women are putting their kids in daycare, you stupid bitch.
but statistically, women have the majority of childcare burden.
No. The majority. No. Don't do that. Yes, women have the majority of the childcare burden. I will give you that. They're still putting their kids in childcare. You see how she just switched up there? Pearl just told her, yeah, women are putting their kids in childcare. No, they're not. She's like, bitch, it's $1 billion business. Okay, most of the childcare burden is put on women. Right, that's why they put their kids in daycare. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable, dude.
And not a lot of people can afford daycare nowadays.
Here we go.
Well, who is the kid spending the most time with if the mom's at work? Most mothers work nowadays. So the kid is spending more time at school.
There you
than
go.
at daycare.
There it is.
Because
Or-
usually
or
school
with
gets out.
extended
School gets
family.
out at like 2:30.
Extended family?
Don't really have extended family.
No.
School gets out at 2:30 or 3. They go to daycare for 2 or 3 hours.
What about before school? What about before
What about before school? Oh, look at this. What about before school? What?
daycare? Because a lot of times,
Okay, like
especially in that
45
first,
minutes.
Thank you. Got her. Yeah. What about before school? Bitch, the kid wakes up, gets dressed, has breakfast. They're at the bus stop in 45 minutes to an hour. That doesn't count. Nice try. And by the way, before school, dad is also there. Get out of here with this.
In the morning.
no, like the first 2 years of life at least.
Oh. So okay. So now we've gone from daycare. She got her ass handed to her on daycare. Okay. Well, what about before school? Pearl got her on that. Okay. Well, 45 minutes. Well, what about the first 2 years of their life, dude?
A lot of people aren't sending newborns and like
A lot of people aren't sending newborns to daycare, but most of them are. Nice try.
Not uncommon.
No, it's not uncommon, but it's also-
my sister works at a daycare. They get newborns like
Yeah.
within the first couple
right
months
but
all the
we're
time.
talking about like populations, right? We're talking
See, what are you talking about? Most women put their kids in daycare. End of discussion. Jay Blaze in the chat says she's a walking contradiction. This is a clear case of a woman not wanting to get it right, but a woman who wants to be right. This is not even a discussion at this point. This is not even a discussion. This woman is absolutely getting her ass handed to her, and all she can do is lie to stay in it.
about like statistics and
Yeah, there it is. Jay Blaze says, yes, my nephew is 6 months old and he's in daycare. Of course he is.
the majority of people are not
Can I look
sending
up
their
the average age? Do you care if I look? I'm just
No, you can
curious.
look it
What
up.
is the average age kids go in daycare?
No, that's
I
not-
actually don't know the answer to that question.
that wouldn't be the
Kids.
question that I would ask, but I'm curious what that
That wouldn't be the question that I asked. So you see, Pearl is like, okay, bitch, let's check the statistics. And this woman knows that she's wrong. So what does she say to pre-qualify a disagreement? Well, that's not the question that I would ask. Then what question would you ask, sweet cheeks? This woman, dude.
answer is.
This woman. Yeah, look, dude. Yeah, the brown bunny says this woman is arguing in bad faith. She's arguing in bad faith, man. This is ridiculous.
We recommend kids start daycare as early as 6 weeks old. Doesn't give me an average. Just says kids can start daycare as early as 6 weeks. That's all I got.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, because that wouldn't
Yeah,
be the question
yeah,
that I
I
would
know.
Google.
Well, then what would be the question that you would Google?
Go ahead.
like it would be because
And no. Ask the question you would Google.
right, we're talking about
See, she's not going to tell us. She's not going to tell us the question that she would ask Google because she knows the answer. Mike Hawk with the $5 super chat says they also pawn their crotch goblins off on their parents and nannies. Absolutely.
breastfeeding. We're talking about like bonding. A lot
Yeah, none of that happens in daycare, sweet cheeks.
of these things, like especially in the first 2 to 6 months of life, at least, like women bear the majority of that labor.
Right. And that's why they pawn them off in daycare. This is why they do it, sweetie. You're right. women have most of the child care responsibility. And of course, because we all know that women can't handle responsibility, they put their kids in daycare, which is exactly what Pearl just said.
Sure. But I say, so what?
I could say that to any.
Men bear the majority of labor.
Thank you.
Of running society
Thank
for
you.
a lifetime.
And
On average, women have 1 to 2 kids. So okay, you could say that's 4 years. Men work 50. 50
Whoa,
in a
got her.
difficult job that
Got her.
gives us the food that we have, the chairs we're sitting on, and the microphone we're talking in.
And
Waiting on Glenn.
who set that system up?
You should say thank you, men.
Yes, yeah, men, we set that system up. You're goddamn right.
Thank God for them.
No, you seem to have a problem with the amount that men work and the responsibility.
No. She doesn't have a problem with that. She's simply acknowledging it. You see, dude, this woman is getting absolutely destroyed. And now she's trying to personally attack Pearl. You seem to have a problem with. She don't have a problem with it. She's just talking about it.
That men bear, and so
I don't have a problem with it. I'm acknowledging what it is, and women should be thankful to men for doing it.
Yeah, see, Pearl knows that that's pissing her off. That's why she's gonna niggle her on it.
Instead of complaining that they're not doing enough to make women's lives comfortable.
Oh!
It's been one of the most privileged times to be a woman ever.
Goddamn right.
I mean, you have even the fact that you're saying the biggest problem is that they have to raise their kids in the early years. You know how privileged that is?
Dude.
I mean, you have the option to put them in daycare. You have the option to delay motherhood. They made IVF for us.
Thank you.
They gave you birth. Like, we have so many choices now.
And this is the thing. The more we innovate, the more we give. This is why we know that modern women ain't shit. The more we give them, the more they want. We have given modern women just about everything they want. And all they can do is complain. All they do is complain. Well, this is for men, by men. Switchblade with the $2 super chat says, the black community are lab rats of feminism experiment. Yes. Love it.
And we're still going to say they're not doing enough? That's bullshit.
Do you
Adam.
know how much work it takes to raise children?
I'm one of 10.
Well, would you know?
Yeah, so you should be
I'm one of 10 kids.
Okay, so here's my next question. Are your parents still married?
Yeah.
Now she's getting personal.
And wasn't your mom like a feminist on the UN who fought for women's rights at a global level?
Yeah, so she disagrees with her mom just because her mom. Now she's using the black woman thing. Donovan, you shouldn't talk shit about black women. You came from a black woman. Donovan, why are you so hard on black women when you're related to them? Look, it ain't got nothing to do with what my family thinks, okay? The truth is the truth, regardless of familial ties. This woman is losing this argument. So now she's going to try to talk about her family. See, what she's trying to do here, guys, is she's trying to get Pearl rattled. She's trying to get Pearl all up in a bunch. Don't you talk about my family. But just like Yannick L'Italien says in the chat, I love Pearl's icy, calm, and amused mastery. This girl can't stand it. This girl has tried everything to throw Pearl off her square. And now she's trying to go final boss mode. Let's see how she handles it.
Me and my mom don't agree on everything. What's your point?
Yeah, that she had 9 children and she's happily married as a feminist. So it seems like you should be fully aware and
She's
fully
not a feminist. She took me to Sarah Palin rallies when I was a kid.
Okay.
Oh, see that? See that? You see how they cherry pick things? She's like, my mom's not a feminist. She took me to Sarah Palin rallies, bitch. Like, what the fuck?
Like pro-life rallies when I was 12.
Thank you.
I mean,
Didn't come out of nowhere.
Right, but she also did advocate on a global level for like women's opportunities.
So
So it seems like you should be fully.
Here's the thing: the internet only has half of that story, and
Usually
I
does.
can't. Yeah, I can't tell the full one.
yeah, because it's personal fucking information.
Because it's not my place, so I can't really use that as an. I'm telling you, you're wrong. Though that's not. If you had the full story, I just can't talk about it here.
Yeah, you say that a lot when people bring up your family, which is fine.
See, there it is. You do that a lot when people bring up your family. Absolutely, sweetheart. Because it's Pearl. You're not going to talk, dude. And listen, I'm a little bit different. You guys know some of the details of my family life. I'm not telling you how all of them are. I'm not telling you all that stuff. So this woman is sitting here trying to shame Pearl for not wanting to give away proprietary information on a channel with over 2 million subscribers. Yeah, nice try. That means you're losing.
But my main point is that you are not ignorant to these ideas. You are
Right. She's not ignorant to these ideas, and this is why she is against these ideas. This woman is just upset that Pearl disagrees. That's all there is to it. Pearl disagrees with you. That's it. That's her only problem.
We're not ignorant to these arguments. Like,
Right. She's not ignorant to these arguments. This is why she can argue against them.
you on a global and personal level, like, are aware of them. So to say who cares, like, your mom cares, to say who cares, a lot of us care. And I think that it takes a lot of strength to care. And I
No, it doesn't.
think that it actually, to say, oh, I don't care, stop complaining, that's the easy way out. I don't want to take the easy way out.
No, you are taking the easy way out because being a feminist is not hard these days.
I think that being passionate
See, I don't want to take the easy way out, as if to say Pearl is taking the easy way out. This bitch is getting cooked.
about empathy is really like the strength. It
Now we're talking about empathy. What does empathy have to do with this discussion?
takes strength to be sensitive. It takes strength to be vulnerable and transparent.
That has nothing to do with this discussion. Now she's off on a tangent because she's losing.
I think that it's really easy, and it's the easy way out to just
No, no, bitch. No. You're taking the easy way out. Pearl is not taking the easy way. Are you kidding me with this? Is this bitch really going to sit here and try to convince us that Pearl is taking the easy way out? Dude, Pearl is routinely and viciously attacked all over the internet. It is not easy to do what Pearl does. Yet this woman is sitting here saying that Pearl's taking the easy way out. Bitch, you got some fucking nerve, man.
just be callous and to say we can't make change and I don't care about your feelings.
No,
Okay,
I don't.
Well, again, you can say that, but it doesn't change the reality of the world. And the thing is, if you want to be in a man's world, then be in it. And what women try to do is they go into a man's world and tell them how it should be different.
Thank you.
Yeah, because as you've
Even
recognized,
though they've done none of
it
the
seems
work,
like you are
even
you
though they've
interviewing
done the
me, or
work,
are we?
even though they've done none of the work of building.
See? She knows Pearl is about to go in, so now she's about to take us behind the curtain. You're interrupting me, blah, 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 blah. Passive aggressive.
This society. But go ahead, sorry.
I would argue that our society would be better off if we did have a part in building it.
Oh my God. Women are not interested in building society.
Our society has been stagnated and has been held back because women have been held back.
Are you fucking kidding me? Our society has been stagnated and held back, bitch. Are you kidding me with this? The advancement in science and technology. What? You mean to tell me that our society is stagnated, dude? My smartphone is more powerful than any computer 20 years ago. No. We have not stagnated. See, again, this is just talk. This is just prattle. That's all this is. That's all this is. And the more involved women become in things like this, that's when we start to stagnate. But for this woman to sit here and say that society's... Are you kidding me? Look at how many... Look at the advancements in science technology. Oh my God. Dude, the smartphone technology. So, the advancements, the advancements in society, healthcare. Unbelievable. This bitch is literally just saying shit to say shit. Unreal, man. Unfucking believable.
Imagine the prosperity and imagine the opportunity that the world would have if women weren't held back and women weren't stagnated.
Women are not held back. Women are given women are given, this woman doesn't want equal opportunity. She wants equal outcomes. And the fact of the matter is women are not choosing the kinds of jobs that matter. This is all there is to it.
And you continuously complain about these things that men have to endure and then simultaneously call it a men's world that women should be grateful to be a part of. But we
Yes, men built the world, but we also suffer. This is just how it is. What she's trying to say is that because the world is built and run by men must have it easy. No. Men, dude, we do not have it easy out here. Just because it's a patriarchy and we built everything, men do not have it easy. Just because we built it does not mean that we have it easy.
We should also be sensitive towards the things that they've built that are detrimental to themselves.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think men did historically? Like, what do you think their jobs were? Like 1800s, what were your choices as a man to do as a job?
Do you see her see, she's not thinking about the question. She's already thinking about how to disagree with it. Just answer the question.
Because, you always talk about...
Do you see it? Look at the look in her face. Look at the look on her face. She's not actually thinking about the question. She's already thinking about how to disagree. Watch. She's trying to think why. See, here's the thing. Her look on her face is like, why is she asking me this question? What? Just answer the question. No, she's too invested in being right instead of getting it right. That's why she's not actually thinking about the question. Watch her face.
1800s. What were your choices as a man to do?
Look, she's like, why is she asking me this question? Yeah, the reason why you want to know why she's asking you that question is because you know she's about to prove you wrong again.
Because you
Look, see, again.
talk about how women were held back historically. So I'm asking, like, what was life like back then?
Well,
1800.
women had to stay home.
No, she asked you about men, not women.
And men had to do all of the jobs because they didn't allow women to
Oh
help
my
them.
God.
What were their jobs that they did? What were the most common methods of employment back then?
I mean, what do you mean? I mean, it's going
What
to be...
do you mean? What do you mean? She asked you.
It's going to be construction. It's going to be medicine. It's going to be food production. It's going to be factories. It's going... like the same thing that runs all of society.
So
Thank you.
they had three choices: coal miner, farmer, factory worker.
Nothing else happened in society in the
I'm not
1800s.
saying nothing else. That was the majority of how people were employed. So you guys have this like rewritten history where you guys think that men just had these glamorous, fun jobs.
Right.
But men did.
Oh, now she's like, no, that's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. Who built society and who is it run by? It's run by men. She thinks that building and maintaining society is somehow a privilege that only, no, this is why Pearl told you should be thanking men. Listen, men, we civilized the world so that women could exist in it. And all they do is fucking complain.
difficult job. Men know that they didn't enjoy their job.
Thank you.
It's like, do you think any guy is going to a coal mine and saying, wow, this is my passion?
And again, who set that system up?
It's the men. But that doesn't mean they have to like it.
It's not about who set it up. It's how would the system run without it.
Thank
They
you.
need coal. At the time, they needed coal. Like the same way now, somebody has to build the buildings.
Thank you.
Somebody has to get the food. Otherwise, society does not run.
Thank you. And who's going to do it? Y'all? Women?
Correct. And we're better off when women participate and when women are able to help men. Like, we talk about all of these like detrimental aspects of these harmful industries, and arguably, if we cared about how people felt, we were compassionate.
We do care about, now she's trying to, no. We do care about how people felt and how they were affected. That's why there are safety protocols. Every factory job I have ever worked, safety was number one. In any job, safety, safety, safety. There are safety protocols on oil derricks. There are safety protocols in coal mines. There are safety protocols in warehouses. There are safety protocols on construction site. She's acting like Pearl just doesn't care about the danger that men have to go through with these jobs. No, we absolutely care. And the people that came up with and maintain safety protocols are what class? The men. Unbelievable.
Towards their experience, we would put more time and energy
OSHA, thank you, the brown bunny. Thank you. There it is. There it is. And OSHA is run by who? Men.
to improving these harmful industries.
And that's what OSHA's for.
And if women had been allowed to enter into these industries
Oh my God,
earlier,
this bitch.
you could argue that they would be safer industries.
Women are allowed to enter these industries, sweet cheeks. They're just choosing not to. Stop it.
Because we have empathy and we
Empathy has nothing to do with safety protocols.
want to value progression.
See, she's basing all of her arguments on feelings. And like Pearl said earlier, facts don't give a fuck about your feelings.
And we want to recognize problems and address them. We don't just see a problem and say, hey, that's a problem, and then sit on it.
No, nobody's doing that. No, literally, dude, nobody's doing that. Okay? This is why OSHA exists. This is why safety protocols exist. Why is she talking about dude, she's literally lying. She wants us to believe that society doesn't care about men's dangerous jobs. No, you don't. This is the way you think. Right now, you're projecting. You don't give a fuck about men's dangerous jobs. So you're assuming that everybody else doesn't. This woman has no idea she's telling on herself.
Like, no, you recognize a problem, you recognize what causes it, and you fix it.
Okay, so I told you about the crab fishing today. What are you going to do now?
As I said, that's not my job.
Thank
There are
you.
people-
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If this woman purports to care so much, if she wants to empathize so much, if she wants to enter the workforce and help men, okay. You got men who die on crab boats all the time. What are you going to do about it? Well, that's not my job.
People
Okay,
who
so
are
you're
on.
doing the same
Excuse
thing.
me, if I could
There,
speak.
see, there it is. Now, excuse me if I can speak. Yeah. Now you're going to see. You see that? She's like, excuse me, I want to speak. Yeah, you know Pearl's about to get your ass.
As I've said before, there are people on safety committees. There are people on workers' unions.
Right. Exactly.
There are people whose jobs are dedicated.
So what are you bitching about? This woman just sat here. This woman just sat here for 90 seconds, just waxed poetic about how no one seems to care about the safety protocols on the workforce. No one seems to care. And as soon as Pearl says, what are you going to do about it? She says, well, there's already somebody doing that. So it's not a problem. This woman is talking just to talk. Yeah, this woman's a whole fucking clown, dude. Oh my God.
To worker safety. So if you're very passionate about that, you should
I thought you were passionate about that.
probably invite one of them to sit down in the studio.
No, baby. She's talking to you. She's talking to you because you're the one who seems to have a problem with all of this lack of safety protocols. And you're the one who wants to change the world and progress everything. So what are you going to do about it? You just sat here and looked down at your nose at Pearl. Well, the reason I do with these discussions is because I want to change the world. Okay. You just recognized a problem. So now what are you going to do about it? And the answer, fucking crickets. The answer is nothing, bitch.
And ask them that question.
Okay, so nothing.
There it is. There it is. Got her. Amuse Mastery 101. But yeah, so nothing. Yep, that's it. Got her. See ya.
You're not going to
Because
do
that's
anything
not
about
my
it?
job.
Okay.
No,
I'm
yeah,
just
nothing.
clarifying you're doing the same thing.
Thank you.
No, because I'm more than happy to recognize that it's a problem
So you want to talk about the problem, but not actually do anything to solve the problem. That's literally exactly what you accuse Pearl of doing.
that should be addressed by somebody whose specialty it is to address that problem.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. This was fun. You want to tell them your socials and they can your social.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck about this woman's goddamn socials. Fuck out of here. All right, guys. Glenn is be in shortly. All right, so Glenn is now all set and ready to go with his podcast. I'm going to be simul streaming this to my audience, so definitely stay tuned for that. That is going to do it. That is going to do it for this, the 1132nd edition of TSR Live. My thanks to all of my super chatters, my members. My thanks to all of my Cash Appers. Thank you guys very, very much for your support. I'm on with Glenn next, and then later on, it's the Hard R Podcast. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in a bit.